800-848-9295 today. Propane not available in all areas.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. We treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet, and that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the tea treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $9 with results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio, right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, baby. Hello, everybody. Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Boy, I hope that video of those two white people in New York City keeping that black woman from her job, boy, I hope that doesn't go viral. Oh, man. Boy, I hope the video of the white man and the white woman blocking a New York street, keeping a black woman from her job so she could feed her babies. Boy, I hope that doesn't go viral. Baby, if that goes, oh, what the hell am I saying? It's already gone viral. It's everywhere. There were black people sitting up there going, I cannot believe I stood with these people. I cannot believe that I was standing with these people. They ain't even going to let me go to work. They ain't even going to let me go to work. I stood with these people. I was with them. They was with us. They was all anti-Trump, and now they ain't going to let me go to my job. I'm trying to take care of my babies. Oh, baby, I hope it don't go viral. Oh, it's going viral. It's going viral. Oh, man. Yes, thank you, Michael. Michael's in the chat room. Michael, let me read what Michael just wrote. He says, hey, Reese, your barking about the Meriden kid and his dad yesterday must have hit a nerve because this morning the news was reporting his name and where they were sent. Yes, they were. We'll get into that because I have so much more to talk about that. I'm going to inundate you with that. I got some stories about in North Haven. That's absolutely funny. They're calling it Popsicle Gate. That's going to be great. That's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to talk about that. I don't think our guest, the communist, is coming on. I just texted him. I'm not getting a response. Whatever. They don't want to be challenged. They just want to bark. They just want to scream. They want to holler. They don't want to be challenged. I at least want to be challenged. Come on the show and challenge me. But they won't. Whatever. Today I just have to tell this story. If you've watched the news lately, you've probably heard this or saw this video of Harry Enton of CNN talking about immigrants and polling data related to illegal immigration. And this video has gone viral and has become important as a talking point for conservatives. But it doesn't go far enough because Harry Enton is just a polling data guy. What CNN should have done afterwards was explain why these numbers say what they say. So they left it to me, and I will do it for them. Because as I'm watching this, and I saw it last night, I saw it this morning, everyone keeps playing it. Harry Enton's getting a lot of burn over at CNN. No one watches the network because they don't have to. They just watch them on everybody else's shows. So let me begin by saying this. The polling data says, to the surprise of Democrats, that immigrants in this country are more aligned with Donald Trump than they are with Democrats. And Democrats who like to say to black people, boy, what you doing voting with them Republicans? You black, you supposed to be a Democrat. That's the same thing they say to immigrants in this country. You an immigrant, boy. You supposed to be with the illegals. But they're not. They're not. And while they're showing this data over at CNN and not explaining it, they're failing to recognize that they used to be able to tell immigrants that. And immigrants sided with Democrats. But something else happened. Something really bad happened. And I'm going to lay it out. Let's start with Harry Enton and his polling data. How do immigrants feel about illegals?
How immigrant citizens, voters, feel about people in the country illegally.
Yeah, and this is where it all kind of comes together, Kate Baldwin. Look at this. The net favorable rating, immigrants who are here illegally, among immigrant citizens, again, those registered to vote. In 2020, look at this, plus 23 points on the net favorable rating. But look at where we were in 2024, minus 6 points, underwater. So immigrant citizens have become increasingly unfavorable in their views of those immigrants who are here illegally. So
now listen to that number, because I know on radio numbers suck. In 2020, where Donald Trump lost the election, allegedly, and when Joe Biden was the president of the United States, in 2020, Democrats were at a plus 23 with illegals. Illegals were plus 23 on the side of Democrats when it came to illegal immigration. In essence, telling Joe Biden, hey, the immigrants in this country, legal ones, are actually for illegals coming into the country. Open the floodgates. Now, the truth of that number is they weren't for opening the floodgates. They were for a pathway to citizenship for the illegals who were already here. And from 20 to 2024, you saw a 29-point swing. That's 4 years because of the opening of the floodgates, the porous southern border. But that wasn't it. It wasn't just the opening of the border. There was a lot more. I'd like to take you back a little bit. You see, before 2020, for decades, Democrats, who were the party of the middle class and the party of the working class, were telling you that we needed health care for all, and we needed a fair shot for every American in the country. That you were the one getting duped by the American government and by the wealthy in this country, and you did not get your fair share. Remember, in 2016, that was full bore in the Bernie Sanders campaign.
And everybody knows there is something wrong when we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people.
That was Bernie Sanders this year. But it didn't matter. That could have been Bernie Sanders any year. In the last 20, he's been repeating that over and over again, that we don't have health care in this country for American citizens. That's what you were sold on. In fact, when polling data comes out every election, Americans say that health care is, if not number one, number two, or number three on their list. Climate change, dead last. But nonetheless, health care is always on the top of the list. It's always in the top 5. In fact, I don't think it's gone below top 3. And remember, Bernie Sanders was also the guy who said we have to stand for all types of justice. This was him at Coachella. But then again, this could have been Bernie Sanders anytime.
We need you to stand up to fight for justice. To fight for economic justice, social justice, and racial justice.
That's what they were. That was what everybody was supposed to be standing up for. That's what the Democrat Party stood for decades. Then something weird started to happen. Certain individuals started letting little things out of the bag. They started letting little things out of the bag. And it was sometimes flippant. Some people tried to draw attention to it, but it was no real attention brought to it until this happened. I remember it. You remember it. Chris Murphy remembers it.
So you are right that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe, and it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
You heard Chris Murphy there. It's been the Democrat strategy for 30 years, and it hasn't worked for the people we care about most, illegals. He calls them undocumented, but we know who they are. That started to come out. People started recognizing it. And then after 2024, some things were hard to ignore.
It's as part of a $53 million program, giving the average family of 4 more than $1,400 per month. It's more than the allowance for some deployed troops. Fox News Digital breaking it all down, saying, quote, while an average military family is suffering from a deficit of $1,860 over a period of 9 months, a similarly sized illegal migrant family is being given nearly 7 times more.
People were ignoring even that story. We had veterans on the street, and we had veterans and active duty military who were making $1,800 less, while illegals were making 7 times more. Fox News also did this report that many people caught, and many people, especially Democrats, started to realize, holy crap, they seem to be talking about others instead of us. They told us that we're not making any money, that we're not getting our fair share. We're not getting our fair shake. The 99%, remember that? the Occupy Wall Street class, all the people who were being left behind, the American people? Well, the Democrat Party stood by those people. And now they were just ignoring them and giving every dime they could to illegals. California, New York, Chicago, millions.
We wanted to show you just how much asylum seekers are getting in some of our biggest blue cities, starting right here in New York. If you're a migrant, you're guaranteed housing, some of them being placed in hotel rooms that average $300 a night. Then a number of those migrants qualify to be part of the $53 million debit card pilot program. That means they are handed $1,000 on a debit card each and every month. Add SNAP benefits on top of that, and we're talking an additional $1,400. In Los Angeles, migrants are given full coverage health insurance and soon could also get $1,000 a month through the city's new guaranteed income pilot program, which is immigration status blind. That means you could get it even if you're not here legally. And in Chicago, they so far have spent $300 million since 2023 on migrants. That's on things like food and even laundry. As part of that spending, it's going towards rental assistance. If you're a migrant there, you could get up to $15,000 annually to help pay for housing.
Americans were getting nowhere near that. Not even crumbs. And when Americans did need it, and they needed it most, like in Hawaii after the fires, or in Georgia after the hurricane.
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met.
$750. But what were they getting in places like Minnesota? Not a major place.
This would make Minnesota a magnet for more illegal immigrants. If I went to Russia, would I be expecting to get the sorts of benefits that Minnesota taxpayers are giving to people who are here illegally? Illegal immigrants in Minnesota in 2025 will be given $7,000 worth of benefits, $7,000 per person in the form of Minnesota Care benefits here in Minnesota.
You're wondering why? Again, legal immigrants, people who paid their way to get into the country legally, weren't getting that. This was being given to people who had crossed the border illegally. That's what it was. And so to wake up today to watch Yvette Clarke, Democrat from New York, say this.
But let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents of Los Angeles, with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Yvette Clarke, the woman who said that she could absorb migrants, not out of goodwill, but for votes.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
So when Harry Enton puts these poll numbers up, wondering why there's a 30-point swing with legal immigrants in this country and siding with Donald Trump, even American citizens, that's all the history you need to know. And I did that in less than 15 minutes. They're never going to win on this. Not after 2020 and 2024. They can't. They brought this on themselves, folks. We'll take a break. You want to call? You want to respond to these numbers and this monologue? Numbers 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut, from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now.
This Travelers Championship charity highlight is brought to you by Cristino Kitchens.
Discover the heart behind the Travelers Championship, a PGA Tour event with a mission to make a difference. The Nest Egg Foundation is a Connecticut-based, not-for-profit organization that helps to provide financial grants for IVF treatment to those who have been unable to start families due to financial need. Many men and women in our community end their quest to have a family simply due to financial constraints. The Nest Egg Foundation aims to give an opportunity to those struggling with infertility via education and access to treatment. The Nest Egg is here to build your family with a team of medical and financial professionals who are passionate about family building and dedicated to women's health issues. Since 2016, there have been 18 babies born and 1 on the way. With thanks to Travelers Companionship, more parents in our community will be on their way to build new, happy, and healthy families. Keep listening to WTIC News Talk 1080 for more Travelers Championship charity highlights.
This is Paige Lopez, founder of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink with Awaken 180 with our guidance, you're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole host of information that will enable you to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that taste good to you long term so that you can experience that long-term success easily.
Before turning to weight loss medications, first call Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight, then receive free support for life. Changing your life starts when you make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30, Hartford temperature 82 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. The WTIC Weather Center sees a mainly sunny sky today. We'll have some clouds drift in. Also some of that smoke from the Canada wildfires, too. All the forecast details coming up. Beach Boys founding member and pop music innovator Brian Wilson has died. Here's correspondent Deborah Rodriguez.
When Brian Wilson was being honored at the Kennedy Center in 2008, folk singer Art Garfunkel called him
our Mozart of rock and roll.
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
It was recognition of a career that began more than 4 decades earlier in Southern California, where a young Wilson joined his brothers Carl and Dennis, cousin Mike Love, and friend Al Jardine to form the Beach Boys. Jardine remembers everyone gathering around the piano.
And Brian would be picking out these notes from the ether, like from the Four Freshman catalog, and he'd have each one of our voices on his right hand. And he'd say, Al, this is you, Carl, da-da-da-da-da. He had it all figured out.
The Beach Boys released their first album in 1962.
Brian Wilson was 82. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein's been convicted of one of the top charges in his sex crimes retrial. But Weinstein was also acquitted of another charge, and jurors were as yet unable to reach a verdict on a third charge. Split verdict meted out a version of vindication to his accusers and prosecutors. Weinstein was initially convicted 5 years ago. No injuries in a car fire in New Britain this morning. Happened on Stanley Street. Police say the driver apparently rolled the car onto its driver's side before it caught fire and took out a utility pole. Students at Meriden's Maloney High School held a rally for one of their classmates today. Kevin Moreno was taken into custody by ICE in Hartford last week, along with his father. He's now in a detention facility in Texas. Moreno was supposed to graduate with his class last night. In what could be a break in the U.S.-China trade war, President Trump says a framework for a deal has been reached. The U.S. will get rare earth minerals while letting Chinese students attend American colleges and universities, while U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods will go to 55%. WTIC News time is 2:32. Bob Cox in the Weather Center sees sunny skies today, warm, 80 to 85 for the high. will fall back into the 60s tonight under a clear sky. And on Thursday, we can expect another nice day. Mainly sunny skies, still warm, and temperatures in the 80s. 80 degrees is the temperature right now in Hartford. Markets are down so far on Wall Street. The Dow down 13, NASDAQ's down 105, and the S&P is off by 19 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Don't let a root canal scare you. Columbia Dental's endodontic experts provide gentle and effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with Johnson Brunetti. Do not make mistakes when it comes to Social Security decisions. Get our free guide, Social Security Decisions. Call or text the word security to request your copy. 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word security to 1-800-705-1232 to get your free guide. 1-800-705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support Rebuilding Together Hartford.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000. Texting enrolls you.
1 minute.
Messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text 9369. That's TEAR to 369369. TEAR to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
We're back. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I wanted to play this bit. This was crazy. This was a guy by the name of Isaiah Carter. And his response, just after, I guess, we started learning about USAID. This guy was a committed Democrat, and he went viral. Many of you, I think we even played it here on WTIC because he went so viral, was talking about how he, as a Democrat, realized that he had been duped. In essence, how Democrats had stolen his tax money to give it to illegals in the country.
This political party, the Democratic Party, have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class. They've lied about being the party of peace. They've lied about being the party that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good. These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people. And that's why I'm so angry. Because this party lied to me while stealing my tax dollars. The Democratic Party lied to us all while they brought in millions of illegal immigrants for their own political purposes for the last 4 years. 20 to 30 million illegal aliens brought in.
And that's why I go back to Yvette Clarke. Again, now this was a woman talking about illegals coming into New York when Mayor Eric Adams had finally given up. He had finally taken so many illegals that had been shipped up to him so that he could feel the brunt of what, governors like Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Florida and Texas, respectively, were going through. And Yvette Clarke was talking about her constituents. Oh, these people who say they can't take them. No, I could use them. Bring them here.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed.
That's her talking about Eric Adams.
No room in the inn. I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
That's about nothing. I mean, that's not even about being good-natured. That's just politics. 860-522-WTIC. Let's take Jim in Willington. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Nice to talk to you. I don't know where to start with this. So let's just start with this. It was Ronald Reagan who gave amnesty to what, 5 million people?
Indeed.
On the promise that we would get legislation change concerning immigration law. It was Donald Trump who offered DACA, $800,000 at the time.
Mhm.
He offered it to Pelosi and Schumer. He said, you know what? Let's figure out a way to get that, keep DACA. Let's register them in a certain way, get them in the line where they belong.
Yep.
Or path to citizenship. And then then Trump doubled it to I believe it was 1.7 million in total.
I think
In
you're
other
right.
words,
Yeah.
the families included. We never heard from that issue again. It was President Obama who right now still holds the title for deporter in chief, yet not a peep out of anybody. It was Bill Clinton, Obama, Biden, Trump, Biden in other ways, but in State of the Union addresses that spoke to what was going on to a country if you had the type of illegal immigration that we have today.
That's right.
We can go on and on with this. And I'll tell you, the representative in New York who talks about about our brothers in arms, our immigrant brothers in arms.
Yeah.
What are the American citizens that can't find the housing in New York City and other places in New York? Are they brothers in arms?
No.
Are the veterans that are living in the subways and in other places brothers in arms?
No.
Are American citizens in general brothers in arms when it comes to these policies?
Look, you couldn't paint a starker contrast of what these people think of the American people versus illegals in the country. And that was the reason why I played the Kamala Harris clip, because it may not have been her policy, but it was definitely her administration's policy. At the time we were learning that millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, were going to illegals in the country, we watched two tragedies with American citizens in Hawaii and in Georgia. Not to mention, we didn't even get to, North Carolina, western parts of North Carolina, who were also hit by Hurricane Helene. They went on camera and offered those folks $750, and they had to apply for it. So if there was ever a starker contrast, that was it.
Well, let me add to it. Let me add to that. We had I think it was 68 or 70 illegal immigrants landed on, I believe, Martha's Vineyard.
Yep.
Where all this compassion from the left, all of this fake outrage, how fast were they off that island?
Wasn't it crazy?
Who got them off that island?
The people who lived there. And that, you know what, Jim? What we're missing there was a small little part of all of that Martha's Vineyard nonsense. Because those of you, if you missed the story, Ron DeSantis sends a private plane with about 38 people to Martha's Vineyard. He sends them to Martha's Vineyard, I might add, off season. It's in the cold, like it's in the winter time, right? It's not even really, it's not like peak season for going to Martha's Vineyard because it's cold by the water. And there's nothing but housing that people are only going to visit during the summer. And people were out. We just don't have the capacity to house these people. What are you talking about? Every place in here is empty. House them somewhere. They were gone less than 24 hours, and they were put on a military base immediately.
Yes, 24 hours. And the last thing I'll say, if I might, this whole thing out in L.A., we don't have to keep beating the dead horse. We know how policy is. We know what the hypocrisy is when it comes to all that.
Oh, yeah.
But the bottom line is simply this. They had unrest in that city for 2 days, and nobody in L.A. did anything about it. Period. End of discussion.
That's it.
And throwing rocks and burning and looting is not something that I would call peaceful protesting. Nobody calls it that. And this whole idea that you can get away with what happened in Minnesota and other places and think the media is going to cover it while you feign outrage from a political party from the left, that is history. That's absolute history.
Jim, that is the reason why I'm playing these clips, because with that as the backdrop of Los Angeles, right? And we now know that there's riots in New York, and there are also riots in Chicago that are anti-ICE and anti-removal of illegal immigrants from the country. What they're failing to realize is while they're rioting, as I said the other day, rioting through the streets to protect illegals, they never rioted for the people who didn't get any assistance during Hurricane Helene. They didn't riot where there were veterans out in the street who couldn't get, a place to stay or, room and board. Nobody rioted for those people. but they riot for the illegals.
And nobody in their press carried the message. And let's carry the correct message. And I'll end with this. These Democratic Party politicians, the prominent ones, who is out there? Akeem Jeffries, you can name them. Who is out there advocating for the victims of the people who are in this country illegally that are criminals? I haven't seen any passion from Booker, from none of them.
And you won't, because they think the winning side of this issue is being with illegals, and we already know the numbers bear out that that's not the case. But
well, you know what? They need the chaos, Reese. They need the chaos.
Oh, I agree.
They need it. They have to have this chaos go as far into it, close to these midterms as they can. This is the only way they can frame Trump. They got to get that 56% approval down as to how he's handling things, and unless they see it go up, his approvals are going up. This stuff's going to continue.
Yeah, indeed, you're right. That's the only way they'll stop. They'll see that polling data go up, and then they'll knock it off. Thank you, Jim, as always, sir. Good talking to you. Speaking of Jim, I got some stuff going on in New Haven very soon. I want to talk about North Haven, actually. We'll talk about that. Popsicle Gate, if you haven't heard about it. Small little story coming out of North Haven. It's actually pretty funny, but also a little unethical. Let's also remember that. It's a little unethical, but I'd love to hear your commentary about it. So that's coming up at about 4:35. We do understand that Eric Goodman from the Revolutionary Communists of America will be on the program. He actually just sent me a text and said that he will be here. So we'll see him or talk to him in a little bit, roughly about, let's say about 2 hours from now. We'll have him on the show. We'll talk about why he's protesting outside of City Hall in Hartford as well. And we got plenty of stuff to get into. So stick around for that. Yes. Details coming up in a moment about the young man at Maloney High School who did not attend because he went to a immigration hearing and was held and did not make it for his graduation. We'll talk about that as well. We have some details. We have some information that we cannot certify yet, but it is very interesting. We'll get into that as well. So, and we have his name. We finally figured out why we have his name as well. So stick around for that. Don't go anywhere. More news, more views, and your phone calls when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
This is Paige Lopez, founder of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
And through this process of cooking your food...
Wow, they didn't change it. All the time Awaken 180s is out of there.
Drink with Awaken 180.
Oh, yeah, they're all gone,
guidance. You're learning.
You got just a regular page now.
It doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole...
I wouldn't be able to do that because they don't want you to go to the gym. I'm in the gym 4 times a week, 5 times a week.
Oh, you can't go to the gym?
Yeah, they don't want you to go to the gym. They want you to do like light stuff like walking or maybe a bike or something like that. Oh, okay. But no heavy weightlifting.
Weight loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight.
That sounds like my kind of diet.
Yeah, that was right up your alley.
Make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi. Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Covaris, and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
1 minute.
Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to...
Yes, Eric, I did see that story.
Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Summer's coolest mattress deals are going on now at Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale.
This summer, save up to $1,000 on select mattresses. And say goodbye to hot sleep and save up to $500 on the best-selling Tempur-Breeze collection. Plus, feel the freedom to snooze now and 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Better sleep starts at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
And we are back. It's Reese On The Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Right to the phones we go. Fred's in Middletown. How are we doing, sir?
Hey, so Gil Scott-Heron was wrong. The revolution is being televised. That's all. This is some central planning, the UN, who also sent like Antifa and BLM, very deliberate. And what is communism, but as Jesse Kelly says, rounding up the malcontents.
Oh, yeah.
Weaponizing them, pointing them at your enemy. So it's a non sequitur, but I have a, like, Tom Shattuck goodbye poem, if I may.
I guess we could. He's still family. Why not? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be stale in a minute, you know. So it's called one. It's called One Monkey.
Oh, why?
One monkey. Well, it's self-explanatory. One monkey don't stop no show, so they say. And apparently, noontime talker, listener, broadcaster Tom Shattuck wasn't stacking up enough bananas, so Friday, June 6th, was his last day.
That's not why.
Oh, no. Well, the cost, the relative cost.
Okay.
Compared to having some feed of Eric Erickson or that other.
He was already here.
Right, that's free.
Oh, okay, I got
Tom
you.
was here. You got to pay the guy a full wage as opposed to something you already own that you probably run for pennies.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have had to been selling a lot of advertising to be economically viable. I mean, this is, in his own words, more or less, he was like grateful that he'd hung as long as he had. In other words, it just, he was kind of like a loss leader or something. I mean, and like I say,
Okay.
what he was replaced with is free. Yeah, they already have both those dopes on there. You know. So.
Hey, don't do that.
Don't stop. They're syndicated. They
I actually
didn't feel a
happen
thing.
to like Eric. I happen to like Eric, and I like Brian. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I mean, Kilmeade. Oh my God.
No.
Anyway,
I'm talking about on a personal level. Kilmeade on a personal level. I always liked him. I always thought he was kind of, as a person, I've always kind of liked him.
I mean, everyone has a likability to them. You know, I don't doubt he's likable.
Well, gee,
Despite
that makes
his
me
brother.
feel better, Fred.
Oh, no, it's all I could say. We, the those, the them, the they who will miss him have no one but ourselves to blame.
Oh.
We stayed stuck in our timeshares. We did nothing about our ED, and we eschewed advice from the astral plane. Consequently, either Tom or the sponsors would simply have to be going away. The literal of it, of course, is that Tom won't actually be going anywhere since he'd been broadcasting from his ever-dilapidated home. He simply won't be joining us on the air or on the phone. Has it been 4 years? Blink, and the ever-so-present becomes ever-so past.
Oh.
Well, evidently, talking can be fun, and notwithstanding that when all is said and done, there's usually a lot more said than done. Depending on what got said, something may very well also have gotten done. To summarize, Tim from Hamden, notwithstanding, it has been fun. Well done. Thank you.
Well, you had to get a dig in there on Tim. He's not happy.
That's not a dig.
Oh no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Right.
Tim is
Yeah.
actually very, very much enamored with me even when he's hating my show, he's still watching it. Isn't that weird? I've never heard anybody hate a show so much he can't stop watching it. I guess I'm a train wreck.
There's a very term to hate listen to something. You know, you listen just to hate it. Yeah.
Do you
hate
remember
on it,
this?
yeah.
I don't. Fred, you had to have seen this movie. You remember back in the day? What was Howard Stern's movie called Private Parts? Was that the name of it?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
remember that one time when he gets to NBC and Pig Vomit, as he was referred to, was trying to get the numbers on Howard Stern's show, and the guy says, who's listening to the show? And he says, well, people who like him listen to 15 minutes, and they were like, people who hate him listen for 45.
Yeah.
Which
Hey, we're playable, man. We're open book.
And the guy says,
Shoot fish in a barrel.
listening to
Playing
the show, and he
him.
says, well,
Oh,
people
that's
who like
me.
to
I'm
listen
sorry.
for
I'm talking back to
myself. My video feed was coming
Okay,
back
all
to
right.
me.
Hey,
My
I'll say
apologies.
goodbye.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
That was one of the things that I always loved about that. I was like, really? People will hate listen? And I learned firsthand. Misery loves company. Eric, you are 100% right. When we come back, I've got to tell you about what's going on with this case in Meriden. The Meriden ICE case is, let's just say, it's a little more convoluted than one would allow you to believe. But everybody's covering it. And everybody's saying everything while saying nothing. And there's an interesting twist to this that I want people to consider. And I want to know why no one's saying anything about that. And we'll use Obrego Garcia as our template. Because if you know anything about this story, everything about this story with this young man is information anybody can get. Anybody can obtain the story as to why he was held by ICE for one reason that the news media is reporting. But why are they not reporting it? And I'm telling you, bottom line, the reason why is because they are trying to draw at your heartstrings. And I always believe that a lie by omission is still a lie. To give you some background, let's use Obrego Garcia. What everyone argued about Obrego Garcia, from Chris Van Hollen to every person on CNN, they said that Kilmar Obrego Garcia did not receive due process. They also said and always talked about the case, about his deportation order. Many pundits refused to mention it, others did. Many people talked about the court case that said that he was wrongfully deported. They seem to know everything about the court cases that got him out of the country. But with dealing with this young man out of Meriden, here's the thing that everybody reports on, but doesn't report on. He was held by ICE, he and his father, after an immigration hearing. Why is no one talking about what happened at the hearing? The hearing would tell you why he was held. Isn't that suspicious? Let's get to John Silva with Top of the Hour News. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
Good afternoon.
Be right back.
Breeze will have mainly sunny skies, although we got that haze from some of the wildfire smoke that's been drifting in. All the forecast details coming up. Legendary musician and Beach Boys founding member Brian Wilson has died. Cammie McCormick reports.
The Beach Boys defined summers in the 1960s with a string of hits. Entertainment reporter Matt Wolf.
One of the architects of the California sound, he was considered one of the most influential pop musicians of the 20th century. But Brian Wilson started simple, singing with his brothers in their living room, then forming the Beach Boys in 1961.
He was an admitted perfectionist, and reporter Jim Taylor says he fought demons.
He drove himself nearly crazy into a deep depression and out of the band he created. Recorded for years as a solo artist, but never achieved the heights of his early genius.
Brian Wilson was 82. Joe Levy with Rolling Stone says Wilson's music, that is, led to a certain description of California and summertime.
It is indeed hard to talk about the influence of Brian Wilson just on music because he is a shaper of American myth and American culture. Our popular ideas about California, a land of surf and sun, many of them come from Beach Boys songs.
Harvey Weinstein's been convicted on one of the top charges in his sex crimes retrial. The disgraced movie mogul was acquitted, though, on another charge, and jurors were as yet unable to reach a verdict on the third charge. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
Apparently, there was infighting among the jurors during deliberations, so much so that several asked to speak to the judge last week because they either felt threatened or believed that the antics needed to stop before rendering a verdict. It sounds as if there was a vocal and bullying group of jurors who believe that Weinstein should be convicted of rape and not just sexual assault.
He initially was convicted 5 years ago, pled not guilty to all charges. The state's new housing bill sits in limbo for the time being. Governor Lamont has been open with some of his concerns after hearing from mayors and first selectmen who've expressed concern over what it could mean for the future of zoning rules. Republican State Representative Steve Weir of Hebron sits on the Housing Committee, believes the scope of the bill is part of the problem.
The bill that we had to vote on was 91 pages, 46 sections, contained 16 different bills from 6 different committees, so it wasn't just housing. This is a mix of housing, banking, human services, planning and development, public safety, all crammed into this bill.
Democratic House Majority Leader Jason Rojas says the size of the bill reflects the large size of the problem.
In the wake of COVID, we saw housing prices spike, we saw rents spike, and it's caused a lot of concern. And that's just something that happened in the moment, but it's actually been around for a very long time. Housing is very expensive in Connecticut, and there's a lot of reason why that it is. This bill doesn't solve all those problems, but I think it certainly moves us in the direction of a smarter housing policy that's going to allow for the kind of growth that our state needs.
A man facing charges in South Windsor after police say they responded to a complaint of a suspicious person early this morning. Police officers responded to the Valero gas station on Sullivan Ave. According to detectives, a man identified as 57-year-old Robert Malone of South Windsor had caused alarm to the victim. He initially followed her in an empty parking lot, blocked her in with his car, later appeared to be photographing or taking video of her. Officers ultimately caught up with Malone, issued him a summons. He's due in court on June 25th. No injuries reported after a vehicle caught fire early this morning in New Britain. Fire reported around 3 on Stanley Street. The operator apparently took down a utility pole as well. Car landed on the driver's side after it flipped over. That investigation is ongoing. And the government reports inflation ticked up slightly last month. Consumer prices up 2.4% compared to the same point a year ago. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger with more on what's going on at the grocery store.
Meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, your favorite proteins, were down 0.4% month over month. But eggs are still up 41.5% from a year ago. Those prices should start to moderate.
WTIC News Time approaching 3:05. Checking traffic. Couple of issues out here this Wednesday afternoon. In Cromwell is a 3-vehicle crash, 91 south between exits 21 and 20. Should be off to the shoulder, but use caution getting by. And down in Meriden, 15 northbound backups between exits 66 and 68N. That's due to a 2-vehicle crash, right lane blocked there. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
After several consecutive days with highs in the 70s, readings have climbed above 80 across the area this afternoon. While it is noticeably warmer, the humidity is fairly low.
Yeah.
We will continue
Mark
to
West
enjoy
Harper
sunshine
says,
the
tell
rest
Roland
this afternoon
that
through
Awaken
some
180
upper-level
says it's
haze,
okay
a
to
high
bowl
temperature of
because it's
83.
not considered
Smoke and
exercise
haze from
or
distant
sport.
wildfires centered over Canada will enhance the
And that's why I don't like Mark.
with a low of 65. Hazy sunshine tomorrow, breezy, very warm tomorrow.
thought that would
high reaching
codified.
87. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 60. Pleasant on Friday with a mixture of
Get him out of there.
81 degrees. Then trending cooler as we head into the weekend. Variable cloudiness on Saturday. With a couple
Tell him CBS Sports just purchased bowling for next year.
Did they?
So yeah, so it's
Sunday.
definitely a sport.
Clouds might break for a little sunshine on Monday. Won't be as cool. High 72. I'm Bob
When you
Larson
gonna
of
get
the
on that circuit,
WTIC
man?
Weather Center.
Dow Jones down 7.
Gotta have the bread, man. It's a grind. It's a grind, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And you have to have the money to pay for all that, and not be spending your own money, breaking your own bank for it.
Firm of Brown Payne Dearest Scott understands
About 50,000-60,000 for a full season. If you want to do a full season, it's gonna cost you about 50-60 grand.
a lot at stake when considering your future. At Brown Payne Dearest and Scott, our team of family attorneys have over 100 years of combined experience
That's
and
like when
understand
Pastor
every
Will
family
used to
law
get the
case is different.
sponsorships for
At
his
BPS
NASCAR.
Lawyers, you get more.
Yeah, there you go. It's the same thing. You gotta get some sponsors.
All BPS.
And they gotta believe that you're gonna represent them well, you know?
Is responsible for the content of this ad.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
ALO Home Services, same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D104014665, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Coverage varies by plan. View
1 minute.
Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection
Really?
Plan.
I didn't know that.
No matter
Did
what
you
the
know that,
mileage,
Roland?
if your
Mookie
car is under
Betts
20
is a-
years
is a
old,
bowler?
Endurance can get you
Oh, absolutely. He's nice. He's sick with it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good.
more. Endurance has plans for any budget.
Hey,
Repairs
apparently
can
it's
be done at the
both
certified
perfect games.
mechanic
I
of
didn't
your
know that,
choice.
Eric. Gosh.
Yeah.
I like Mookie. I didn't know you
Yeah. He bowled a couple times in the Chris Paul Foundation tournament, and that's when he first really noticed it.
Yeah.
Act now and get our.
I think he has his own thing now too.
Oh, really? I know Chris Paul does. Chris Paul can play.
With
Not
Endurance,
bad.
you could.
Yeah, he's not better than Mookie Betts.
So call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
It's along the same lines though.
Making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC.
Angles, arm, hand, where do you throw it? All that good stuff.
Hey, let's get into some headlines. It's time. If you haven't heard, Simone Biles has finally apologized for her comments against Riley Gaines, the NCAA swimmer. They were going in a back and forth about transgenders in sports, men in women's sports. And Simone Biles has finally apologized, saying that it was not a good thing to make comments about Riley Gaines' appearance, especially somebody who is short and stocky like Simone Biles is. And not only that, her publicist probably told her, hey, you got a Netflix series coming out, and, you're really trying to, bolster your image and do good things for women in sports. This may not be a good thing for you, and maybe you should step out of the limelight on this subject, which, again, is weird, but, that's where we are. Everybody feels like they have to make a comment about things, even when they shouldn't. So she has decided to apologize. Also, since we're talking apologies, it turns out that Elon Musk is apologizing too. Yeah. He's now saying that he may have gone a little too far. I wonder if he's going to call Donald Trump up. Hi, Dad. Sorry. Sorry, Dad. He may apologize. I don't know whether or not they're going to speak again. But at the end of the day, Elon Musk apologized. Someone who should apologize and hasn't, Terry Moran, formerly of ABC News, was finally fired over the tweet trashing Trump and Stephen Miller. You remember that? I told you when I played that clip by David Chilean, who's now with CNN, made that comment about Mitt Romney during the 2012 election, saying that Mitt Romney was partying while black people drowned. Yahoo had just been purchased by ABC News, and ABC News says, you're out of here. So it didn't look like Terry Moran was going to survive this at all. They used this excuse that he had a contract that was up on Friday, and they decided to just sever ties. They didn't renew him. If you're fired 2 days before your contract's over, you're fired. And that's how that goes. This story, I have to admit, is blowing my mind. Because if there's a way for you to lose credibility as a cause or any sympathy anyone would have for you as a cause, this one was it. I take you back a couple of years ago, and I just want to sort of put this in sort of a perspective where I know that this was a dumb thing to do. Do you remember where you were when Kobe Bryant died, Roland? Do you remember where you were? You remember what you were doing at all?
Yeah, I was at home.
You were at home, right? It was a Saturday or a Sunday, I believe, right? I know it was over the weekend. But it was in the middle of the day, and I remember when I saw it. Again, not a Kobe Bryant fan, because I'm a Boston Celtics fan, and I watched that championship where, you remember Paul Pierce finally got his ring? Yeah, so
They should have won back-to-back.
Yeah,
They let Kobe get one.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I was a part of that, but I was never a Kobe fan, but I understand the impact of Kobe. He was a killer. He was the Black Mamba, without a doubt. I watched plenty of games with him where I'd be screaming at him, going, damn, not Kobe. But that was because he was good, not because he cheated, because he was good. I mean, you have somebody that's like Reggie Miller in the Knicks. You can't hate on him because he's good. You just hate on him because he's beating you. So I never really had any affection or affinity for Kobe Bryant. But when he died, the day he died, I was in an argument with my ex-wife. At the time, we were just separated. Mary, she's been here on the show. And we weren't talking for about 5 weeks. And when he died, I was listening to Steve Hardly Funny, and he said something, if you can believe it, because I never liked him either, he said something that blew my mind. He said, if you got somebody that you got beef with, if you got somebody that you're not talking to right now, pick up the phone and call them. Don't ask for an apology. Don't even apologize. Just go, hey, man, whatever we had is over because we never know what time we have. And I'm not going to lie. I was just listening to Steve Hardly Funny, and he said that. And I immediately texted my ex-wife, and I said, you know what? I don't care what we were arguing about. I forgive you. I hope you forgive me. I don't want to be enemies anymore. Please, I just want to be friends. And she immediately called me and said, what's going on? I said, Kobe's died. And I said, I cannot believe it. And I was, again, awestruck about his death. So it blew my mind. It's like, damn, Kobe's gone. I didn't even realize it would affect me like that. Like, I couldn't understand. It affected everybody I knew who, were Kobe haters, if you will. Sports, all sports related. But it blew our minds. What? Kobe's gone? So to hear the story today that the mural in Los Angeles was defaced by anti-ICE rioters, I couldn't be more angry. Like, in Los Angeles, they didn't have enough respect for Kobe? Now, I know it's just a mural, but geez, man. If you ever want to show your disdain or just your lack of couth, I couldn't believe that they would deface that. Because like I said, I don't care who you are or where you are, Kobe Bryant means something to a degree. Not his relationship in that whole affair thing and the Denver case. There are some people who, that's all I need to say. Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. I just couldn't believe that they did that. Yeah, exactly. Eric's like, dude, what the? Yes, that's right. They defaced his mural. Couldn't believe it. Also in the news, a federal grand jury has returned a 3-count indictment charging Democratic Rep. LaMonica McIver with forcibly impeding and interfering with a federal law enforcement officer at the Delaney Hall Detention Center in Newark last month. You remember, she was the woman who was out there with ICE agents throwing them bows like Ludacris. Her little chubby self in the red jacket. You remember, it was national news. 3-count federal indictment for her impeding. McIver is facing a maximum of 17 years in prison for all 3 counts. If she's smart, she'll plead out. If she's smart. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Mark's in West Hartford. Hello, sir.
Hey, 2 quick things. For one, I need an assist with, and we'll go with that one first. We need to find Miguel Cardona's contact info.
Yes.
He made a statement regarding the student in Meriden that was picked up by ICE.
Yeah, I have it.
And Kennedy said the student didn't commit any crimes. How does Miguel know that?
Exactly.
How did he get to make that statement?
I don't know.
But I can't get a hold of him. Literally, like I looked up everywhere. I'm hoping maybe TIC News Department, who I always bash, maybe they can get in my good graces, hand it to you, and give it to me. But and now here's the other thing. This blew my mind today. So I got a few white mics in my life. I'll put it that way. And one of them today, you just brought up how they defaced the mural.
Yeah.
And obviously we're seeing a lot of Mexican flags, and we're talking about now reparations because they occupied the earth. This guy said something to me, kind of blew my mind, but I kind of understood because I know his mentality.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what? Good luck to any contractors coming to my house, because the first thing I'm going to ask them, you got Mexicans on your crew? So he goes, if I ever need a roof, guess what? I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that I want to know who's going to work on my property.
Yeah.
And I go, wow, I didn't even think of that angle. Like, if the Mexican community, and this could happen.
Yep.
If this guy said it to me, he's not the only one thinking this. He's already soured. He goes, restaurant? He was started like going off on a tangent. He goes, I know restaurants. Most of their crew in the kitchen is Mexican. You think I'm going to go there and give my money to them? This is how they think of America? And I'm telling you, if anybody's listening, call me crazy. I'm just going to go by this guy. And sometimes they speak, maybe there's a bigger percentage than I think.
No, it
but
is.
I thought
Listen.
It was interesting that he brought this up.
It's a growing sentiment. You cannot stand on the news waving foreign flags while things burn and think the American people, just fair-minded, reasonable people, are going to say, I support that. They just can't. And I know that, look, and the people who do support it don't have the disposable income to support that behavior anyway, if you really think about it, right? Those people never put their money where their mouth is. You never, and look, and what are the examples that we have? When Target and when, what's the other company? Oh, Bud Light. When these folks went in the opposite direction, when they went to the 20 towards an 80-20 issue, what did people do? They affected them financially and they plummeted. That's exactly what this case is. You can't have that image on the news and then have people in America go, yeah, I'm throwing my money behind that.
But I'll leave you, and I'll leave you. I know other people want to call, but the one thing you just said is like, and the people who support them, I love when they go out, the man on the street, because you know that 80% of these people don't even know what they're supporting. Like if you went to them with that, don't you love it? It happens. You could go on YouTube and find it all the time. Why are you here? What are you supporting? You don't even know what they're supporting.
Especially when they're
Reese.
paid. Thanks. You got it, boss man. Let's go to Kurt, who's in Bristol. How are you, Kurt?
Hey, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
Not too much, man. It's just that it defies common sense to a degree that seems impossible in the United States of America. You seem to think that it's okay to violate the law without limits. The same people that are insisting on due process right now were perfectly fine with wide open borders for 4 years, every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Thousands of folks poured over the border against the Constitution, against the rule of law, against everything that makes any sense. And now when you try to reverse it, but we have to do this and we have to do that. And we must, and that now they're talking about costs. They all of a sudden, Democrats are cost conscious. All of a sudden, Democrats are Constitution conscious.
Oh, I found that. You know what? Let me tell you this, Kurt. And I don't even talk about that enough. I spent the better part of 40 years, and I'm not kidding. I'm 55. 40 years I have heard the layperson refer to the Constitution as a living and breathing thing that needs to be amended ad nauseum, right? It's not, the Constitution was written for the white man. It wasn't written for everyone. Now, all of a sudden, we have a constitutional crisis. The Constitution is being trampled on. I'm like, what?
How many constitutional crises, and that's the correct word, crises, have there been since Donald Trump took office? Last I checked, there had been 17, and yet the Constitution stands, and the Republic, more importantly, the Republic stands.
Exactly.
They don't understand. You will hear them call it a democracy. It is not a democracy. It is a representative republic.
You know what? Hold on. Can you hold on for me, Kurt? Let me see if I can find this for you. This you will love this bit, because I think the irony here is the person who is making the statement, and I think I don't know if you ever watched what's his face, what's his name? Gosh, why am I forgetting his name now? CNN. Do you ever watch CNN and watch a guy?
I do watch CNN.
The guy by the name of Donnie O'Sullivan. Have you ever listened to him?
I can honestly say I don't know that name.
Okay.
But I do watch CNN. I watch MSNBC. I watch The Enemy. Yeah.
Okay. You watch The Enemy.
I got to keep current. Dude, I keep current. Dude, you got to keep an eye on The Enemy.
Exactly. That's what I agree. If I have the clip, I'm hoping that I do. But there was a clip of Donnie O'Sullivan who was interviewing. He was at. Oh, here it is. Let me play it. Here it is. This is such a great clip. You'll love it. Hopefully it sets up right now. Come on. There we go.
What happens if Trump loses?
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to win?
Yes.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're in trouble. We're in big trouble.
We're done. If Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy, they're the ones that are killing democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay, we are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are
we're
not a
representative
democracy.
republic. We're not a democracy.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
It's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
But for centuries, America has celebrated its democracy.
Democracy is worth dying for.
Democracy remains the definition.
Now, I go to this only because Donnie O'Sullivan is from Ireland. And he went to Trump rallies where they were all saying, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. And then he goes on to play clips of Republican presidents, Ronald Reagan first, and then George W. Bush, using the word democracy and then saying that. But here's where my favorite part is Donnie O'Sullivan talking to what's supposed to be a historian on whether or not the United States is a democracy or a republic. This woman is supposed to be a historian on American history.
That stopped me in my tracks.
You are hearing people say America is not a democracy because there are people around Trump who want them to be saying that, who've been planting that narrative.
So here's an American telling a foreigner, we're not a democracy. I mean, we're not a republic. We are a democracy.
Okay. For all the folks that, and by the way, if you're listening to this show, you have the IQ necessary to understand this. We are a democratic republic. We are not a democracy. And especially when you hear foreign accents attempting to tell you about your form of government, they're probably wrong. Also, people from within your own form of government who voted for things like communism, i.e. John Brennan, literally is on. This is not conspiracy theory.
No, it's not.
This is proven fact. John Brennan voted for the Communist Party candidate for president prior to having been appointed as
CIA director?
Yes. By
Barack Obama. Yeah.
And yet these same people will sit here to this day and, dude, it's a morning in America. People have awoken. This woke stuff. No, woke. No, again, that's leftist bullshit. I'm sorry.
They got okay. They'll just edit it out. But you're 100% right. You know what my wife says? My wife says that all the time. She goes, "I used to be woke, now I'm awake." That's what.
There you go. And that is what they wanted. That's what they tried to pretend that they meant.
Yeah.
No, the exact opposite. The left uses the exact opposite
every time.
Orwell's 84.
Yeah.
Read it. That is the reality.
Yeah, it's funny. I think they're using it. I think they're using it as a playbook. I got to go, Kurt, but thank you, sir. I got to take a break.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Passionate, as they all should be. That's a good point. Brennan is a communist lawyer. You're 100% right. All right, when we come back, we're going to tell you the details about Kevin Rosario Moreno. Again, Kevin Rosario Moreno, and the efforts to get him back from ICE custody. All right, when we return, this is the high school student that was detained. We'll break all that stuff down to you when we get back, so don't go anywhere. It's Reese On The Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Sue and her wife Helen meet their son every Saturday for lunch. One week, they were late because Helen didn't realize it was Saturday. At the restaurant, they enjoyed their usual favorites and caught up. But after the meal, Helen got upset because she needed help calculating the tip. Sue missed 2 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Did you? Know where Alzheimer's and all dementia hide. Learn more at alz.org/10signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association.
College holds a mythic place in American culture, but there are stories you won't hear on the campus tours.
The higher-ups are concerned about one thing, and that is avoiding scandal.
I'm Margot Gray. On the new podcast, Campus Files, we cover everything from rigged admissions to the drama of Greek life and student protests. Listen to and follow Campus Files, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30, Hartford temperature 82 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. WTIC Weather Center forecast for the balance of the afternoon. It'll remain sunshine through some haze, warm, temperatures in the 80s. All the forecast details coming up. Waterbury police investigating a report of shots fired. They received the call to an area of Baldwin and Middle Streets just after 1 this afternoon. Detectives say they did find evidence of gunfire, but no injuries have been reported. Singer, songwriter, producer, and Beach Boys founding member Brian Wilson has died.
Brian Wilson's talents as a singer, songwriter, and producer, his cheery harmonies and catchy hooks, all led to a succession of hits. When Brian Wilson was being honored at the Kennedy Center in 2008, folk singer Art Garfunkel called him
our Mozart of rock and roll.
Brian Wilson was 82. That was correspondent Deborah Rodriguez. No injuries in an early morning car fire in New Britain. Officers say they came upon the scene in the wee hours of this morning on Stanley Street. Car flipped over on its driver's side, burst into flames, took out a utility pole too. And that investigation is ongoing. President Trump announced that a U.S.-China trade deal is done, and that in exchange for Chinese magnets and rare earth minerals and a 55% tariff on Chinese goods, the U.S. will provide China with what was agreed to, including allowing Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities. South Windsor police charging a 57-year-old man with breach of peace after he allegedly followed and possibly recorded a female victim at a Valero gas station on Sullivan Ave in town early this morning. Robert Malone was issued a summons. He's due in court on the 25th. And the NBA Finals shift to Indianapolis tonight as the Pacers host the Oklahoma City Thunder. Series tied at a game apiece. OKC took the hammer to the Pacers in Game 2 after Tyrese Halliburton hit a last-second shot to
We're
win
Phoenix
Game 1.
Energy.
WTIC News Time is 3:32. Here's the forecast.
Nice and warm the rest of this afternoon, certainly warmer than recent days. Sunshine and some upper-level haze due to distant wildfires. High 83. Tonight clear and overnight low is 65. And then breezy and very warm tomorrow. Hazy sunshine, high 87. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 60. Mixture of clouds and sunshine Friday, high 81. Not as warm Saturday. Clouds, limited sun. A couple of showers appear likely. And a high is 73. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Hartford, eastbound 84. We've got backups between exits 46 and 48. That's due to a multi-vehicle crash that has the left and center lanes blocked. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
New grad? Want a career that's exciting and full of growth? Join Odyssey's Sales Associate Program. Get the training you need in advertising, marketing, and digital, and be a part of a team that's shaping the future of multimedia. Visit odysseyinc.com/careers and search Sales Associate under Farmington CT.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
If you've been injured in an accident, don't let the insurance company decide how much you're worth. At Carter Mario Law Firm, you're more than just a client and more than just a quick settlement. When you get Carter, we'll help you get more. More experience, more attention, and more accessibility. The Carter Mario Law Firm's zero-fee warranty means you pay nothing unless we win. Visit GetCarter.com or call 877-GET-CARTER.
At Aiello Home Services, we love the opportunity of meeting our customers' pets. That's why we partnered with the Pack Leaders Rescue of East Hartford and the Wallingford Animal Shelter to help animals find the homes they deserve. To help these animals and fix your
I don't
home's
have any
plumbing,
time on this
heating,
break.
AC, electrical, or drains, call, click, or text and say hello, Aiello. Call for details.
For
safety.
No, I said I don't have any time on this break. We're going straight to...
1465 E118564.
Oh, no, what am I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Never mind.
SM3004646
I'm not used to the new hours
This is Paige Lopez, founder of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink.
Yeah, this your regular 3 o'clock.
guidance.
know.
You're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole host of information that will enable you to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that taste good to you long term, so that you can experience that long-term success easily.
Before turning to weight loss,
Oh yeah, it's Bob Larson today.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight, then receive free support for life. Changing your life starts when you make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Come on, man.
Hey, it's Matt,
Okay.
your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Pay for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Now, I'm going to begin this by saying, please, Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati, if there is anyone from your office, maybe a friend, maybe a neighbor, if you could please get in touch with Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati and ask him if he could tell the rest of us, since out of his own mouth he says he has spoken to the family of Kevin Rosario Moreno, that he would tell the rest of us why Kevin Rosario Moreno was detained after an immigration hearing. Because I would imagine that his family would know. It is being expressed by the news media. It is being expressed on TikTok and on Twitter, or X, that Kevin Rosario Moreno was kidnapped by ICE. This is a lie. Because the news is reporting he was detained with his father at an immigration hearing. What many people have called due process. That is the reason why you are not hearing that part of the story in the news media. You are only hearing that Kevin Rosario Moreno did not attend his high school graduation. And that in and of itself was the tragedy. That he had been detained, they put it, by ICE. And then going on to tell you that he went to an immigration hearing in Hartford and is now in Texas. There are people who are saying, his delegates, people who are in the community, elected officials who are reaching out to ICE, who they say isn't telling them anything about getting him back. Chris Murphy, our intrepid senator, has also released a statement. Here's part of WFSB's coverage.
Some tell us a peaceful protest is in the works. In addition, they'll be displaying his cap and gown. The mayor of Meriden says he's been in contact with the student's family and members of the state's congressional delegation.
Why not tell us what the family said about him being detained? Why? Why not share that with us? So that we know what we're protesting. They're going to hold a vigil, a protest. Why not give us all the information so people know what they're protesting? Why keep them in the dark? If he's truly innocent and committed no crime, if he was detained unlawfully, tell us that. What happened at the hearing? But yet, no one's even asking. But I am. And look, I hope this smacks me right in the face. I hope it turns out, Reese, see, you were wrong. But I don't hear anybody coming forward. I don't hear anybody jumping out a window to tell me that my suspicions are wrong. They should be overwhelmingly running around telling everybody what really happened, but they're not. Isn't that suspicious? Isn't anybody curious? They didn't even want to give his name. He'd done nothing wrong. He committed no crime. He's an innocent kid who got caught up by ICE. ICE is the bad guy here. You know, they're just grabbing people. Here's a little more.
To try and get them home. Other state leaders have been weighing in on the case. Senator Chris Murphy telling Eyewitness News, quote, "This case is more proof that the Trump administration has proven their immigration policy is not about deporting criminals. My office is monitoring the situation and stands ready to assist him and his family."
You're a senator, Chris Murphy. You have access to all the information. You should be able to use your stature, your credibility, your status to ask why one of your constituents are being held in a detention center in Texas, why he was shipped 1,000 miles away from Connecticut. I'm monitoring this? No, you're not. You're releasing a statement. You've got bigger fish to fry. There's a headline today that says that your biggest priority is stopping the big, beautiful bill. You released a statement. You haven't come out publicly. I want to hear from Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati. I want to hear from him. Why, according to his family, was he detained? He had a hearing. He had due process, and yet he was held. Why? The good boy who was graduating high school. It doesn't make sense to me. And if it is, you know what? And if it doesn't make sense, if it's really, really that bad, if what ICE did was not only unlawful, but unconstitutional, hell, we should know that. So we can all stand up and say, no, enough. Why keep that from? Why cheat us out of that opportunity? How can we have righteous indignation when we don't have the information? Really? Nobody? Not one person? The kid made the rounds on every news network in Connecticut. Someone. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Christine in Middletown. How are you, Christine?
I'm all right, Reese. Well, first of all, I don't need political people, namely the Democrats, to pander to someone like me. The only thing I'm a victim of, along with every other Connecticut resident, is a stupid policies from the communists in charge, where we all have to struggle just to pay grocery bills. And how come they can't tell us 2 years ago that they spent $1.28 billion on illegal aliens, Reese?
There you go.
And supposedly, and how about, I think there's something in one of these budgets that just passed that $700 million is reserved for health care for the illegals, Reese. And by the way, Reese, Senator Murphy, he's more than welcome to come to my house. He could tell my nephew and his wife, who came legally last year from the Philippines, and we have a 4-month-old baby in the house, how come they get nothing like everyone else do? Spent the money with lawyers and did the legal process and did it right. And they have like the proverbial door slammed in their face by the communists in charge, Reese.
Christine, let me tell you this. This is gonna blow your mind, right? You're talking about the budget. I'm gonna talk about this in the 5 o'clock hour. This one should blow your mind. So you know that each school district is going to be getting a portion of that money, right? Like they're going to be doled out from place to place. So I looked at this. This really, really made me mad. It'll probably make a lot of people mad. So according to fiscal year 2025, they've made up a list. Here's what the story says in the Hartford Courant. See how much no, this wasn't the Hartford Courant. I apologize. This is New Haven Register. See how much education funding your Connecticut town is set to receive under the new state budget. This came out today. So I'm looking at the number. Bridgeport is getting $201 million. $201 million. That's not even the scary part. I looked up that region in West Ham. Do you know that Bridgeport is 92% minority student? 57% of that is Hispanic or Latino. They're getting more money than some, I'm thinking 4 regions combined. That's how much money they're spending.
Unreal.
It's crazy. 201, and the graduation rate is below 50%.
And yet, the rank and file teachers are going to have to pay out of their pocket for school supplies for those kids who are not going to be able to graduate with life skills.
Exactly. 100% right. Again, all of this is insane, and it's typical at this particular point. But that's what you get. That's what we get. Thank you, Christine, as always. I appreciate you. You got it. I'm telling you, I don't get it. Somebody's got to tell me if he had an immigration hearing. I mean, the immigration hearing, somebody should be able to get the information on what happened at the hearing. Shouldn't they? I tried. Somebody's got to have more pull than I do. Let's go to Everett. Everett's in East Hartford. How are you, sir?
Good. It's been a while.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into your topic, last Friday I was listening, and I kept yelling at the radio, the Louisiana Purchase. Everybody blames the United States about, how unfairly we treated Native Americans.
Oh, yeah, that was the Native. Okay, so the Native American conversation.
Yeah. Well, Spain owned Mexico and part of California, and Louisiana Purchase, well, we got that from the French because they conquered that part of the country.
Correct.
And then the English, Great Britain, is the ones that conquered the East Coast. The United States didn't even exist at that point. And everybody seems to overlook it. And it was one of those things is like kind of, you're missing part of the picture because that's the way the world worked forever.
Yeah, I think that the thing about that...
It's very unfair that we're the only ones that get criticized like that because you can go through history, pick your time, and there's going to be outrageous behavior by our fellow man.
Yeah, exactly. Look, the part that I never seem to understand, and you know this probably just as well as I do, when I was growing up and there were history lessons, world history lessons, the conversations about guys like Hannibal, Genghis Khan, these guys were conquerors. They took over lands everywhere. Alexander the Great, right? These people conquered regions and took them over. They, as conquerors, are often celebrated, somewhat revered, but put on a pedestal. And then America comes into the fold, and it's just like, oh, you evil colonizers.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same people that complain about the United States being unfair, they're the ones that like to play the games where they conquer the world.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it never makes sense to me, but there we are, right? These famous conquerors are celebrated. Just the other day, my wife was watching an elongated series about Genghis Khan. During the whole thing, they kept calling him Genghis Khan. I was like, how do you pronounce it? They were like, is it Genghis or Genghis? She goes, no, it's Genghis. But they're celebrating all of his triumphs, and I'm going, wasn't this guy a colonizer? Like in the grand scheme?
Got a rule.
It doesn't make sense. Oh, dude, I didn't even realize that. Thank you, Everett. I got to take a break. I didn't even look at the time. All right, we'll be back. More news, more views, and your phone calls when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks. But who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, you're a good boy. Oh, you are. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Coverage varies by exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're going to do whatever we can to get somebody on these phones at one of these offices because nobody wants to answer any questions. You know, the constant stenographer reaction by the news media. Let's just repeat what we're told. Everybody says they're talking to someone, they're having a conversation, and at the same time, they don't seem to know anything, and it doesn't make any sense. And the story's not going to go. They're going to hold a protest, and the media is going to be there to cover it. And they're going to stand there in solidarity with all of these kids who won't seem to have an answer. And the objective is to draw attention, like LA is doing, on the subject of illegal immigration. But I'm just saying, if you want me to have empathy, if you want anybody to have empathy, you tell us what's going on. You're forthcoming with it. But to think that I wouldn't notice that you're saying everything and nothing. The kid was detained. Okay. Then we had to find out that he went to an immigration hearing. So we find that out. We had to find out that he went with his father. His father and he were detained. Okay, that's interesting. They have elected officials talking to the parents. Then we find out we're not releasing his name. Then the news media is saying we're not releasing his name. Then I go to WFSB, and they're saying his name. If you want to, I mean, you're supposed to paint a picture of this person that we're all supposed to be awestruck behind. Kevin, they took him. He was about to graduate. Heartstrings pulled. Okay, we're in. Now what? Tell us why he was detained. Nothing. And then to offer up he had committed no crime? Okay. Well, there had to be a reason why he was detained, because ICE wouldn't take him unless a crime was committed. Oh, that's right. You don't consider coming into the country illegally a crime. All right. But if he didn't, and he's just some kid who's lived here all of his life, and you want to get him back and you can, well, we want to be a part of that effort, right? This is a feel-good story, you know? Imagine what you could do. You could finally face the big orange man, Trump. You want me on board? Guess what? I'm a MAGA guy. Get me on board. Tell me what's going on. Come forward and say, tell me all the details, the dirty deets, as they say. Give them to me. If this kid's really on the up and up, I got your back. And then you can say, hey, even a MAGA supporter supports Kevin coming home. But you can't. You can't. And that's the rub. That's why no one can trust you. Fake and phony. You have every chance, and you could do it right now. But you know what? Your supporters and the people who believe this nonsense are stupid. And you know they're stupid. That's why you got their goat on this dumb story. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Let's get some weather and traffic. We got Bob Cox, or we got I forget who's doing the weather. Mark Christopher's here, though. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're traveling on the eastbound side,
Bob Larson.
Hartford, we have an accident at 46 Sisson Avenue. Right now, they've got the left lane blocked. Also, the exit off-ramp to 46 Sisson Avenue is blocked with that crash. So right now, delays are pushing back toward exit 43 in West Hartford behind that, so you want to stay to the right as you move up on 46 Sisson Avenue. Westbound side of 84, you're tied up 56 Governor Street out to 46 Sisson Avenue. Southbound 91 delays 35 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 some slow traffic, Cromwell 21 to 22. After that, moving well. Hartford up into Windsor. 291 384 okay. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound a little tight. Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Also some slow traffic from 32 to 34 Berlin into New Britain. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. Westbound 84 is tied up 26 to 25A in Waterbury, a little slow at the Mixmaster. Southbound Parkway, look for delays from 60 in Hamden down to just south of exit 59 in New Haven. 95 South New Haven slowing 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
WTIC weather.
Nice and warm the rest of this afternoon, certainly warmer than recent days. Sunshine and some upper level haze due to distant wildfires. High 83. Tonight clear and overnight low is 65. And then breezy and very warm tomorrow. Hazy sunshine. High 87. Tomorrow night partly cloudy, low 60. Mixture of clouds and sunshine. Friday high 81. Not as warm Saturday. Clouds, limited sun. A couple of showers appear likely. And a high is 73. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut.
Eric?
This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 81 degrees.
Is this your 4 o'clock?
I'm
That's my
John
guy.
Silva.
All right, cool.
WTIC 1080 News. The Trump administration doubling down on the president's decision to send National Guard troops and U.S. Marines to restore order after violence broke out over ICE immigration raids. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt earlier today.
And let this be an unequivocal message to left-wing radicals in other parts of the country who are thinking about copycatting the violence in an effort to stop this administration's mass deportation efforts. You will not succeed.
Curfew, a dawn to dusk curfew, is in effect in the L.A. area. Nearly 24 arrests, or 24 were arrested for breaking that curfew. President Trump's budget bill fared poorly in the latest national poll from Quinnipiac University in Hamden. Assistant Polling Director Tim Malloy says Trump's approval rating's at 38%, down 3 percentage points from April.
Not a good poll for President Trump. His approval rating has dipped, not dramatically, but incrementally over the last 2 or 3 months. So he's down in the 30s, not where he wants to be. Probably a lot of factors, but this poll, in a lot of ways, is not a good one for the president.
53% of respondents disapprove of the big budget bill that would bounce millions off Medicaid and add trillions to the debt, according to some. The president also comes up underwater on immigration and the economy to previous strengths. Congress again gets a thumbs down, 21% approval, job done by Democrats, 32% for Republicans. In Vernon, police say a pedestrian was seriously injured when he was struck by a vehicle Tuesday night. Officers say around 8:40 they arrived at the scene, 1270 or near 1270 Hartford Turnpike, to find an adult male lying in the roadway. Victim was taken to Hartford Hospital for treatment of serious injuries. The operator of the vehicle remained on the scene, police say, and is cooperating with that investigation. Some may be headed back to work at the CDC.
Some widely criticized cuts to the CDC staff are being reversed this week, according to multiple health officials who received notices calling them back to work. That includes the agency's teams working in labs investigating STD outbreaks and teams responding to cruise ship illnesses and lead poisoning emergencies. Officials said it is unclear how many of the staff who have received the notices will actually come back to work, given some have already accepted new jobs at other organizations or companies.
That's correspondent Alex Tin reporting. Back here, Governor Lamont weighing what to do next with that controversial housing bill that's been getting him a good deal of complaints from mayors and first selectmen from across the state. One of the major concerns is what the bill could mean for local zoning rules. Hebron Republican State Representative Stephen Weir.
The best zoning and the best government is local government, our neighbors and friends and people who we know. Who have, I think, the best interests of the town. And so when they're on target or off target, it's better to have somebody close by to hear those concerns versus somebody having policy directed from Hartford.
Democratic House Leader Jason Rojas.
So it doesn't require any town to do anything specifically in terms of actually building a number of units. It does ask towns to use a number that that was derived from an assessment that we've been doing for the last 2 years around the number of units that's needed. Actually, and that number is actually specific to the people who are most vulnerable for homelessness, folks at the lowest end of the income spectrum.
Several things to consider here. The governor could sign the measure, he could veto it, or the lawmakers could go back into special session and rework the bill. A word this afternoon on the death of Beach Boys founding member Brian Wilson. The family says Wilson died earlier today. No cause of death was given. Wilson founded the group with his brothers Carl and Dennis and their cousin Mike Love in 1961. Their surf sound defined the early years before morphing into more complex forms, as seen on their groundbreaking album Pet Sounds in 1966. Brian Wilson was 82. Wall Street, Dow down 1 point. The NASDAQ down 99 and the S&P's down 16. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Paige Lopez.
1 minute.
Awaken
Thanks,
180 weight loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink with Awaken 180 with our guidance, you're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole host of information that will enable you to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that taste good to you long term so that you can experience that long-term success easily.
Before turning to weight loss medications, first call Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight, then receive free support for life. Changing your life starts when you make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, we got a good one coming up. Maybe a barn burner. Eric Goodman of the I always forget the name of his group, and he'll forgive me Eric for getting the name wrong. They are the Revolutionary Communists of America. He was at the protest this week in Hartford, rallying, of course, people together to support those protesters in Los Angeles and getting some attention for the Nutmeg State. So we'll talk to him about that coming up very soon. Also to find out, maybe see if he has any information about Kevin Rosero Moreno and his detainment and whether or not they're going to be holding any rallies or joining the rallies to support him. Maybe he can answer some of the questions that I have about why they're keeping his status so secret. We'll talk to him about that. And, of course, what their group stands for, Revolutionary Communists of America. And we'll also talk about their stance on immigration, which I find weird. Like, it's, I don't know. I'll lay it all out when we have this conversation. He says to me, he says he was definitely going to show up. He's an honest communist. I didn't know there was a different kind. I thought communists were very honest about what they believe. So I have a lot of faith that communists, because to be a communist, you would have to be honest. That's one of those things, in my view. To say that you're a communist, I think you've already begun the honesty plight. Bob Larson is in for Jason Catarinas with weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to everyone. And we are dealing with a crash, 84 eastbound at 46 Sisson Avenue, left lane blocked there, and the exit 46 off-ramp also blocked by this accident. So right now, you are looking at delays on the eastbound side of 84 back to 43 Park Road. Behind that, westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Slowing again down by exit 28. Northbound side of 91's a little slow by 22 in the Route 9 interchange. Again, some slow traffic approaching exit 25, 26 in Wethersfield. 291, 384 okay to the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound. You've got slow traffic Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Waterbury, delay 17 to 18. Again, westbound 84 in Cheshire is tied up 26 to 25. Again, 23 in Waterbury up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. 84 eastbound in Danbury tight again 8 out to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, you're slowing from 60 in Hamden down to 59 in New Haven. 95 southbound delays 46 to 45. in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week at Stu Leonard's, direct from their Midwest ranchers, ground beef chuck, fresh ground daily by their butchers, just $3.99 a pound. Plus, save $1 on Stu's naked, no added hormones, chicken thighs, or drumsticks, only $1.99 a pound.
Naked?
WTIC weather.
Sunshine the rest of today, nice and warm.
Yeah, the other ones got clothes on you know.
Clear, low 65. Easy sunshine tomorrow, breezy and becoming very warm, high 87. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 60. A mixture of clouds and sunshine Friday, and quite as warm, a high temperature of 81. It's currently 82 at East Hartford. It's 81 in Manchester, and 82 degrees in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
At Columbia Dental, we love to make kids smile. Our expert pediatric dentists specialize in children's dental care, making every visit fun and comfortable. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277-688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Life
warm.
you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on NewsTalk 1080, WTIC.
All right, I'm looking forward to this. Without further ado, on the program today is none other than Eric Goodman of the Revolutionary Communists of America on the phone with us. Eric, what is your station at the Revolutionary Communists of America? You a president, just a member, an organizer? What's your deal?
Thank you so much for having me on today, Reese. I'm a humble organizer in the Revolutionary Communists of America here in Connecticut, and I've been involved with the party for about 10 years.
Okay, and now your party, the Communist Party, is an interesting one. You don't support Democrats or Republicans. You make that very clear on your website. You seem to be anti-both. But I got to be honest with you. I looked at everything I could on the website in the time allotted, and you appear very much aligned with the average progressive Democrat today. Am I missing something here?
Yeah, I think that really what it comes down to is that the Democratic Party, everything that they do is to co-opt any kind of progressive energy back into their machine, back into their kinds of politics. I mean,
are you telling me that Democrats are incorporating communism into their party platform?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not in a million years. The Democratic Party, though, they claim to represent workers. They claim to represent oppressed people, black people, Hispanic people, queer people, Jews, Christians, everybody. And they claim to stand on the side of progress. But really, I think that they're really just a party that stands for bankers and landlords and the rich and the powerful. And they use the rest as kind of window dressing. They don't actually believe in what they claim to stand for. And if you really believed in the liberation of all these different oppressed groups and you believed in the fight against racism and homophobia and transphobia and the rest of it, you'd have to be against capitalism, I would say, because capitalism is at the root of all these different oppressions. Because, once again, to go back to Malcolm X, you can't have capitalism without racism. You can't have capitalism without oppression. You need the working class to be divided against itself.
Okay,
right now the working class is very much divided.
Okay, I want to get into all of this. In fact, I might even extend this interview probably because of so much you just covered right then and there. So look, what I said in the beginning is that isn't the Democrat Party taking your point of views and introducing them into the Democrat Party? You say they're not. You said they only use them as window dressing. What I'm suggesting to you is I'm not saying that Democrats actually believe in communism. I'm just saying that they called what they believe Democrat policies while the rest of us are calling them communist policies. But I think you just reaffirmed that. No. What I'm saying is that you believe, look, everything you just said, that they believe in workers. So does AOC, the progressive wing, Jay Powell, Ayanna Pressley. Everything you just mentioned, we hear every day from your rank and file Democrat operative, if not talking head, if not elected official. They sound exactly like you, but you, as a communist, say that they're not honest about those things. They use them as window dressings while they shill for bankers and the elite. We have no separation here between you and I. You and I agree 100% that everything they do is false. But what I'm saying is that what they're telling us is that they're communists calling themselves the Democrat Party. Can we agree there?
There are communists calling themselves the Democratic Party.
Well, look. How about this one? You believe, right? The communists the Communist Party that you're a part of, you believe in fighting against racial injustice, right?
Absolutely.
So does the Democrat Party. You believe that you believe
Not
that
really. I
you
mean,
believe
it's the Democratic Party that it was the Democratic Party that came in swinging. The Democratic Party that controls the police departments, which are oppressing black and brown people.
No. Let's not.
No.
I don't want to get into the weeds. I want to talk about where they stand as sort of a basic ideology. And you also said that capitalism is something that oppresses people, right? It oppresses workers. Democrats believe the same thing, hence the 99%, Occupy Wall Street. Who was behind that? The Democrat Party. I went to Zuccotti Park, spent plenty of days there talking to the people there, and many of them sounded like you. And they renounced and denounced the Democrat Party because why? They were communists and socialists. But the Democrat Party supported them writ large. Barack Obama, the commander-in-chief, was the one who actually gave them fuel as he went on the bully pulpit and supported their beliefs. So what I'm saying to you is that even if it's window dressing, even if it's a farce, Democrats align themselves more with the communist view of things, codifying what I've always said about Democrats is that they're communists in Democrat clothing. That's all.
I'm still not 100% sure that's all. I mean, I think that when the Democrats say that they're against racism, when the Democrats say that they're for supporting Zuccotti Park, it's obviously it's totally hypocritical. Obama bailed out the banks.
Indeed.
Obama, he expanded the wars in the Middle East.
Indeed.
All the things that the communists are totally opposed to, and it's a bloodless communism. It's a communism without any. It's not communism by any stretch of the imagination, I would say. But in the absence of any real alternative to the Democratic Party, it's very easy for them to posture in that way.
Right.
And just for fairness' sake, the Republican Party is the wolf to the Democratic Party foxes. The Republican Party, it doesn't even pretend to care about these things.
Because we don't need to. We don't need to, Eric. By the way, we're on the phone with Eric Goodman of the Revolutionary Communists of America. That's because Republicans and true conservatives don't need to. And let me explain that to you. If you've never heard this, I want to be the first to express it to you. No, because a lot of Republicans are shy. Conservatives are shy about their positions. And this is the reason why I'll never be a communist, and this is also the reason why I'll never be a Democrat. And that is because I do not believe in government interdiction into people's lives. In essence, I do not believe that I know better than you with how you should live your life. I do not believe that there should be government intervention into the things that make you whole or your pursuit of happiness. Should there be guardrails? Absolutely. And what I mean by guardrails are your freedom ends where mine begin. I believe that you should be able to, one, protect yourself with arms. You should be able to make as much money as your heart desires. If you want to be a gazillionaire, go for it. As long as you're not stealing from anyone. If you do it by selling a product and providing something that people enjoy, make as much money as you want. And if you have people working for you, you should be able to pay them a fair wage, a market wage, so that they can increase their lifestyles as well. You should not be paying for slave labor, which brings us to the reason why you're here. You're supporting illegal immigration in this country because, again, you don't believe that there should be a constitution and all. Why would you be supporting slave labor in this country?
I believe that immigrant workers need to be organized and protected by all the best union policies and paid, a high living wage. We need to be protecting them and uniting with them and not trying to eject them from our country.
Why not work as an organization to ensure that they are here legally to get, because I believe everything should be done in a step process. Let's get them here legally and then fight for the things you're talking about them giving. Because if they were here legally, they wouldn't be making $3, $4 an hour, to which $2 of those dollars go back to their home country. They'd be making $25 an hour, and they can send 15.
Milton Friedman?
Sorry?
Milton Friedman.
Yes, of course.
A great quote. He says that immigration is excellent and valuable only so long as it is illegal. And I think that really encompasses the capitalist view of immigration.
Yeah, if it's illegal,
exploitable. If it's illegal, they can be deported at the first time that they speak up the first time they get a parking ticket, whatever it might
Correct.
be, they can be deported as soon as they cause any kind of problem. They're not free.
Exactly.
And they can be oppressed and exploited to the worst possible extent.
That's my
And so
point.
I'm not interested in deporting them. I'm interested in organizing
No,
them.
no, 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 no.
I think that we have everything to be gained from organizing.
You're putting the cart before the horse. You want them organized, but you don't want them legal first. Get them legal first, Eric.
But the thing is, but both parties are invested in keeping them illegal.
I
is
couldn't
my
agree
point.
with you
Both
more.
parties.
I couldn't agree with you more
Well,
because it gives them an
listen,
opportunity to line their
listen,
pockets.
What you're trying to say about not wanting the government to interfere with people's lives, I have some bad news for you. I agree. I think the government as it exists now is an oppressive organ to hold down the majority by the minority. It's an organ of class rule. It's a way for the rich to hold down the overall majority of the working class. And we need to get rid of this.
Yeah,
government. We
okay,
need to
but
have
that's
really economic control over society.
Eric, that's where I have to
Democratic.
stop you. You're talking about the working class, and this is the problem I have with communists. Well, amongst other things, the problem that I have with communists, and especially socialists, is the fact that you believe that the working class should rule all. And I'm going, hell no. You didn't build anything. Why should you? You are a worker. Why should you be in charge of anything? No,
Man,
with
we
all due
built
respect.
everything. We built everything.
No.
What are you talking about?
No. You didn't. First of all, let's make sure that we understand each other. Okay.
Okay.
You didn't
Okay.
build everything. Your builders, don't get me wrong, but you didn't build them on your own. You had no investment in the building. You came into a job to build the things that you were hired to do. Right? You had a skill set that was paid for. You didn't build anything. You were commissioned to do so. Right? It's not something like
But
you
the
woke up
thing
one
is-
morning.
the
Hold
thing is
on.
then-
You didn't wake up one
Okay, go
morning and
ahead.
build. No worker woke up the next morning and built the widget. No builder woke up the next morning and built the skyscraper. They were commissioned to do that. You're under the impression that the cart, like the worker, actually is on the top tier. He's not. He only works, and every worker, for that matter, does it for compensation. They don't wake up one morning and altruistically give up their talents to things for free, and now they should be allowed to rule. It doesn't work that way.
Agreed. Well, so on this point, I mean, I think what I'm trying to say is that the bosses, the bankers, the people who put labor into motion through their investments are basically parasites. We don't need them in order to build our houses. We don't need them in order to run our society.
Whoa.
We can do this collectively.
Now there you go.
We can do it democratically.
Hold on, collectively. Let's talk a little.
Collectively.
Let's talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that.
You
So you
got me.
believe?
What?
Okay, now you believe in something that I didn't think was possible in the Communist Party, but I guess I'm learning a little something here. Tell me exactly how you're certain that this kumbaya moment would happen should you guys run the world. That everyone in our country would because that's what look. I'm not trying to.
No, it's a great question. It's a
Like,
great que- I get it
because
all the
you're
time.
under the impression. Look, I'll tell you this way, right? I'll give you a perfect example why I know that's nonsense. And it's one of the things that's on your website. We should be able to see that within the black community post the civil rights movement. You know, the one reason why I call it the so-called black community is because you know what I learn every time I go to one? They not only don't know each other, they don't like each other much. And they've got every incentive to do the thing that you're talking about as a society. They believe that they are all equally oppressed. They are all equally victimized. Yet, it is the last group of people who have garnered education or a skill set to put them out of the quote-unquote misery that the white man and the government have put them in. There is no organizational skills even when they live in the communities that are 90% black. They don't join together. In fact, their black elite, business owners, bankers, celebrities with billions of dollars have never invested anything remotely that is a modicum of what we saw in places like Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 1920s. Nothing. We got no black Wall Street. Atlanta, which is 85% black, has nothing even as a semblance of what you're talking about as a communist party. So if it won't work there with the people who need it most, what makes you think that America is going to find this kumbaya moment?
Well, I think that you hit on a really great point. There's been severe underinvestment in these communities, and that's because basically it's not profitable to do so. There's no money to be made by people investing in these communities because of the capitalist system. Money follows wherever it's profitable. Money follows wherever there's a market. And basically, capitalism has failed to lift the oppression of black people in this country, even when there's been formal legal equality, even after we passed the Civil Rights Act, what it's led to, as you said, is a handful of black people had a handful of black leaders raising themselves up, becoming billionaires, becoming politicians and business leaders and whatever, while the overwhelming majority of black workers are still, the last hired and the first fired.
Why are they
of the working class.
But why are black entrepreneurs seduced by capitalism? Why aren't they seduced by the collectivism you're talking about? No, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think it's because they are capitalists first and everything else second.
But that's not endemic. No, but that's not endemic of African culture. That's not. They come from slaves.
It's endemic to no culture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So why are they? Why is capitalism so luring? Why is it as a human trait? Why are they just so seduced by the idea of making more money than everybody else?
Well, I think it's not only black people. Obviously, it's every group.
Right.
Everyone wants to try to get ahead, and it's in our culture to get rich and to live the rich lifestyle and to, screw everybody else who was left behind in your community. And
that's not why.
And it's I think it's very alluring.
No, let me tell you what it is. It's something that is uniquely American. But see, when you throw that little dirt on it at the end, where you say that all of them wish to be rich or to be wealthy and then leave other people behind, I don't think that they're even thinking about leaving others behind. They just want a better life for themselves. And I think that is emblematic of us as a people in the United States. Other places, not so much. But here in the United States, I believe that it's just something that's innate.
Would be great. And that'd be great if they could do it. If the American dream was alive and well and people could do that, then they wouldn't be thinking about communism.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it, and we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with me, Eric.
Okay.
We're on the line with Eric Goodman, Revolutionary Communist of America organizer. We'll get back to him. I'm loving this conversation. When we return, let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 84 eastbound, if you're coming into downtown Hartford right now, we're dealing with an accident in the left lane right at 46 Sisson Avenue. So stay right there. You got delays approaching exit 43 Park Road behind that. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 46 Sisson Avenue. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. A little slow 91 northbound, 21 up to 22 in the Route 9 interchange. Again, a little tight by 25, 26 in Weathersfield. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge heading towards South Windsor. 2 westbounds tight up from 1D up to the 84 West Merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling 84 eastbound, you got some slow traffic by 18. 84 eastbound again slowing 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is tied up from 25A in Waterbury up to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, slowing 3 to 5 again, some slow traffic 9 in Newtown up to 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound Parkway slowing, getting by 60 in Hamden, and 95 South New Haven's tight, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Hazy sunshine the rest of this afternoon and noticeably warmer than recent days. High 83. That haze will enhance the sunset this evening. Clear tonight with a low of 65. Hazy sunshine tomorrow, breezy and very warm. High 87. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 60. Pleasant on Friday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, high 81. Cooler Saturday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers, high 73. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have partly sunny skies out there. Temperature is 82 degrees. Students at Meriden's Maloney High School held a rally for one of their classmates today. Kevin Moreno was taken into custody by ICE in Hartford last week, along with his father, now in a detention facility in Texas. Moreno was supposed to graduate with his class last night. The kids held the rally saying they want to see their classmate returned home. In what could be a break in the U.S.-China trade war, President Trump says a framework for a deal has been reached. U.S. will get rare earth minerals while letting Chinese students attend American colleges and universities. U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods will go to 55%. Beach Boys founding member and pop music innovator Brian Wilson has died. Correspondent Deborah Rodriguez.
When Brian Wilson was being honored at the Kennedy Center in 2008, folk singer Art Garfunkel called him
Our Mozart of rock and roll.
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
It was recognition of a career that began more than 4 decades earlier in Southern California, where a young Wilson joined his brothers Carl and Dennis, cousin Mike Love, and friend Al Jardine to form the Beach Boys. Jardine remembers everyone gathering around the piano.
And Brian would be picking out these notes from the ether, like from the Four Freshman catalog, and he'd have each one of our voices on his right hand, and he'd say, Al, this is you, Carl, da-da-da-da-da. He had it all figured out.
The Beach Boys released their first album in 1962.
Brian Wilson was 82. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein's been convicted of one of the top charges in his sex crimes retrial, but he was acquitted of another charge, and jurors were not able to reach a verdict on a third charge. Dow finished down a point on Wall Street today. The Nasdaq lost 99 points, and the S&P was down 16. Red Sox baseball on TIC tonight. Sox will finish up a 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays at Fenway. 6:10 is the pregame here after the news. Yanks continue their series in KC with the Royals. The Mets host Washington. Eastern League, Yard Goats at Duncan Park will take on Akron. That's 7:10 on the Odyssey app. And it's Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. The series shifts to Indianapolis as the Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Pacers for an 8:30 tip-off. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
This is Paige, founder of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink with Awaken 180 with our guidance, you're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole host of information that will enable you to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that taste good to you long term so that you can experience that long-term success easily.
Before turning to weight loss medications, first call Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight, then receive free support for life. Changing your life starts when you make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, don't go anywhere. If you're just joining us, we are going to be on the phone again with Eric Goodman. He is one of the organizers for the Revolutionary Communists of America. I'm getting shouted at on Facebook. Eric, believe it or not, and I'm not picking up the phone, but we'll get you back in a second. You have one person who's supporting you because this person doesn't like Democrats or Republicans either. And they used to be a Democrat. So when I told you that you align yourself more with Democrats than you know, you do. Just because, I'm just saying, and we'll break all that down when we get a chance. So if you've got any comments, hit us up at reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. You can leave your comments there. I'm reading them as we go to break so that I can get all of them. They're not questions for Eric. Unfortunately, they seem to be, most of the commentary is coming from people who agree with him, at least from one person. They're the ones who's actually shouting at me over there. He's right. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not right. He may be a good guy, but he's not right. And I get, look, he's 100% right about this. And I'll say this before we get to traffic and weather. He's right that there is a growing sentiment for communism by young people. Some old. If you actually look at some of these protests that have gone around lately, they seem to be embracing communism. But that's what we're going to talk to Eric about, because I know what that lure is. I know what it's about. And I believe that the Democrat Party has messed up so badly that they've actually told their constituents, the people that they were supposed to help, that we can't. We can't help you. And I think that's the lure, that it's gotten so tough and people have gotten so weak. This is my view, have gotten so weak, it is impossible for them to fight for the things that they believe in. Like, I'm 55 years old. And no one, I mean, wild horses couldn't keep me from what I believe in and what I want in life. Wild horses could not keep me away. And it's just, I don't know, today it's a different breed. And in my view, that's what I believe communism, why it's so alluring to so many people today. Because they either just don't want to fight or they just don't experience. I think that I'm one generation removed from the greatest generation, the war fighters. These generations are like 5, 6, 7 removed. So, Bob Larson's got weather. He's in for Jason Katarina. And Mark Christopher, of course, always here, like me. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. What's going on, Mark?
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, we've got an exit 46 Sisson Avenue. Left lane and the exit 46 off-ramp to Sisson Avenue is blocked right now. So you are looking for delays that are backed up to exit 43 Park Road in West Hartford. If you're on the westbound side of 84, you've got slow traffic, 56 Governor Street out to 46 Sisson Avenue. Southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32A and B, again 27 to 28. Northbound 91, some slow traffic 21 to 22 in the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell. And another bump up by 25, 26 for the Putnam Bridge. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing on 91 over to the Bissell. 2 westbound's tied up from 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you are traveling Route 9 northbound in Cromwell, look for slow traffic now as you move up on the Harbor Park area up toward the Aragoni Bridge. Southbound Route 9 slowing Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni Bridge. Northbound 9 slowing from 32 up to exit 35 in New Britain. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in let's see, that would be Cheshire. You got delays 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows 22 to the Mixmaster. Heading into Danbury, delays 3 to 5. Again, from exit 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound 91 slowing from 6 in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Sunshine and warm the rest of today. A little bit hazy, a high of 83, and clear tonight. Overnight low is 65. It will become very warm tomorrow. Hazy sunshine, a gusty breeze, a high up to 87. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, dropping to low is 60. Not quite as warm on Friday. Pleasant, a mixture of clouds and sunshine at a high of 81. There could be a couple of showers in the area on Saturday. Right now, it is 82 in Windsor. It's 81 in Farmington and 82 degrees in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. We're going to talk about market volatility, things you should be thinking about, and noise that maybe you should not be listening to. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Ready to elevate your career? Odyssey is looking for a senior account executive to lead high-impact campaigns with top clients. If you're an experienced AE looking for your next challenge, we're looking for you. Apply today. OdysseyInc.com/careers.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D10401465, E11856643, S3308699.
1 minute.
8926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD
It's
223.
hopeless. We'll never make it.
Active duty
Never.
Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you...
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I got to tell you, I'm actually having a really, really good time with this conversation. We're on the phone with Eric Goodman. He is an organizer for the Revolutionary Communists of America. Now, I know you heard me, Eric, but I was saying that, look, I believe that the lure to your party, or to communism, as it were, is because there is a collective. Many people are led to believe that there's no chance for them, that they're not going to make it in this world. And if we all get together, and it takes a village, and we'll each one teach one, each one take care of one, that's the way to go, and that's the lure, because then they don't have to go into this rat race every day. Do you find some truth in that?
I mean, I think that it doesn't even need to be something so kumbaya as that. I think that people are going to be moved into struggle. Right now, people's lifestyles are being degraded. Their livelihoods are being attacked. Their neighbors are being picked up. Everything is breaking down. And people are coming to see that it's only collective action. Only collective action is what's going to keep your house from being sold back to the bank. It's only collective action that's going to allow you to keep your job. And I'm just here trying to shorten that distance for people to come to that conclusion and say that the only thing that can stop this general crisis is the working class mobilized. That's all I'm here to do, and to try to get the people who understand that already organized together and fighting. That's what I'm here to do.
Do you think some of the selling point, or the failure to sell it, is the fact that it's communism and your logo is a hammer and sickle? Like, I'm sorry, but that in today's climate, with people on the left and progressives saying that they support Ukraine while they are in an active war with Russia, there's sort of a little bit of apprehension. Maybe I'm wrong.
Point, we're talking about differentiating ourselves from the Democrats. There's no better way to differentiate ourselves from the Democrats than by putting the hammer and stick in our logo. They'll never do that. On the one hand, on the other hand, we're here for the youth. The youth, people who have the youth have the future. The youth are looking for communism. 20% of young people, according to a poll by the Fraser Institute, 20% of young people think that communism is the ideal economic system.
But it's never worked anywhere, Eric. Eric,
they're looking for answers.
But I know they're looking for answers, but Eric, it's never worked.
Listen, the Soviet Union, they beat Hitler. They beat us in the space race. Mao, he kicked the opium dealers out of China. I mean, Cuba has a higher literacy rate than us. And
no. Those things are not based on communism. Those things are actual.
They absolutely are.
No,
my friend.
Listen,
my friend.
What? Okay, tell me the communism, as it were, that led to all of those things. I mean, fighting Germany or fighting Adolf Hitler. How did communism play a role in that? I thought that was just fighting against good,
just
good
to
versus
be clear,
evil.
I'm no Stalin stan. I'm no friend of the Chairman Mao. Stalin had the founder of My Political Tendency murdered, in his home. And so I'm no friend of this guy. But when you kick out the profit motive, when you say that we don't need the bankers and the landlords and the aristocrats running our country and we can run it according to a rational plan rather than the irrational market, and we take the surplus that we can produce through enormous technology into our own hands and use it to plan production. I mean, the German war machine was extremely corrupt and inefficient because it was run according to the profit motive. And the Soviet Union was really only able to beat Hitler because they had the planned economy, which worked on a rational basis. And so I think it really was the planned economy that allowed them to do this, the incredible sacrifice of the Soviet people.
Okay, but are you suggesting that a less free society is a better one?
Absolutely not. And I think that the reason that the Soviet Union collapsed.
Whoa. Forget about the Soviet Union on this one. I'm talking about, remember, in order for it to be a communist way of life, there have to be less freedoms. Do you not agree with that?
I disagree. I could not. Communism deprives no man of freedom but the freedom to exploit. I think that if we had a guaranteed food, housing, health care for every single human being, we would be so much more free. Is it possible for a woman?
Wait. Hold it. Stop. You're going. Okay. This is look. With all due respect, you're going literally at the college the college classroom pace, because you can't. You go into one thing and then you're off to another. I need to express or at least answer to that one point you made about providing for every individual in the country. Are you talking about the poor, or are you talking about everyone no matter what their financial status is?
Everyone no matter what. No matter what.
So what about those who are well-to-do, who work in affluent jobs and well-paying jobs? Do they now get diminished to a one salary or one economic system where everyone gets paid the same? Because I don't understand how we live in a communist society that still has wealthy and, moderate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, we want the abolition of money. We want to get rid of the profit motive as the driving force in society. We want to have a society where everyone can take according to their needs and give according to their abilities, because they feel
then what do we do with
that they're living in.
Then what do we do with people? Let's say, okay, if everybody's getting a salary, is there a cap? Can everybody have $100,000 a year? Or, what do we do with the people who are making $300,000 a year? A wife, a husband, 2 kids, putting them through college, they make more than $250,000. Is that too much of a salary to make? And do we cap them at some point?
I mean, I said it before. We're fighting for a moneyless, classless, stateless society is what we ultimately want. I think that we can have free college, we can have free food, free housing, free health care. We live in extremely...
But Eric, in order to do that, you're going to have to take things from people, aren't you?
I mean, we think that the people who are running society, who are in charge of the corporations, really play no progressive role.
No, forget about them. I don't care about them. I'm talking about the people who made, the people I just mentioned, a husband, a wife,
the doctors, the lawyers, all
No. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be doctors and lawyers. I'm saying a regular family. I don't want to put them in any particular bubble. They make $350,000 a year as a combined income.
A regular family in Greenwich, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, fine. I mean, there are plenty of them out there. You think obviously, you think that's way too much money. I can hear it in your tone.
No.
What do we do with that family? Do we say that is too much money and we just take that from them?
No, absolutely not. People should be able to keep their houses that they're living in. People should be able to, provide. Kids should go summer camp. You can keep your car. I don't. You
can keep your car. Okay, fine. But what about the salary? What about the salary that they're bringing home? Are we removing that from the equation? Are we taking that from them?
Ultimately, as I said, we want to create a moneyless, classless, stateless society. There's more than enough to go around of all of this stuff.
Okay, see, Eric, it's what you don't say. Eric, it's what you don't say that reveals everything. You got to answer the question. You're an honest broker here, and you shouldn't be shy about it. Joan and John Q. Public
comes down to the fact that should a family who's making $350,000 a year continue to make $300,000 a year? Yeah, sure. I don't really care about that family. I mean, I think that's totally If you're a lawyer and you're not hurting anybody, you're a doctor, you're doing whatever, and it's not hurting anyone, and
So
do
who do we need?
You make $300,000.
Okay, so what do we do? Let's say families that are only making $27,000 a year. Do we give them a universal income that makes them available to live better? Because from what we know, I mean, Connecticut, I just did a story yesterday that said a single Connecticut household has to make at least $102,000 in order to live, right? So what do we do for the average citizen who's making $27,000 to $30,000 a year? Do we up the ante on them? Do we give them a more livable wage? And who pays for that?
I mean, to go back to it, there is more than enough to go around in our society. This is not a situation of scarcity where there's not enough food, housing, health care to make sure that everyone
who provides these things, though, Eric? Who is going to
society as a whole? We want to get rid of this
Oh
government.
no, the government's gone. No. I'm living in this. I'm living in whatever this
and
thing is. Your
utopia right here with me.
Yeah, whatever this utopia is, I want to live in it. But what I'm saying is, have you guys? No, I want to live in it just for this moment, for this exercise. I want to know, because in order for people to be engaged, right? Because I know that, look, a stupid kid who thinks communism works is a stupid kid who thinks that communism works. I'm an adult. You're going to have to sell it to me, right? So I'm saying, so the government is no longer in existence, and these things, these basic needs are provided to me. By whom?
Yeah.
My neighbor?
Yeah, by your neighboring community, by every single person working according to a rational democratic plan of production. Listen, all this enormous productive capacity, the technology that we have now, the factories in the United States, which aren't even working at full capacity because it's not profitable to do so, if all of these different segments of our economy were run not just according to what the market thinks is profitable, but according to what people actually need, and the process of deciding what was actually produced was informed by what people actually need and decided upon in a democratic way and distributed according to need, then people could live a good life.
And you believe
to do this.
And you believe that there is a society in existence today that can evenly disperse these means to everyone in a fair and equitable way. You believe that that's innate in us. While we live in a capitalist society where people are in the rat race to improve their daily lives, get better jobs, make more money, live in bigger houses, live in safer neighborhoods, you believe that we can entice these people to give all that up and to live in a commune-like society where we all take care of each other?
I think that the capitalist system as it is cannot continue. People are struggling more and more every single year.
That's what life is about.
Class,
Life is struggle. I mean, that's what makes it worth living.
I reject that. I think life is about making art, hanging out with your friends, picking berries, helping your community, helping your fellow man. I think that's what life is about. Life is not about the struggle and the grind and the poverty and the exploitation, the war, the genocide. I don't think that's what it's all about.
Wait. What if there... Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. When I was 15 years old, I wanted to be a radio talk show host when I was 15. Are you saying that wanting to be a part of that rat race, working in the industry, being fired from the industry, trying to get back into the industry, all of that stuff, every one of those things has enriched my life? I couldn't think of it anyway. I would never want my life just handed to me. I wouldn't find any value in something if I could sit around and pick berries and paint all day. I don't think that's... I don't know. I just don't think that there's any value in that.
Time, there's always going to be competition. There's always going to be competition for position.
Yeah, hey, Eric. Eric, I picked more berries than you. That'll be the competition. It'll be you and me going, hey, Eric, I picked more berries than you, and my picture is much more beautiful.
Yeah.
That'll be the competitive nature of it all.
I mean, the thing, for 90% of our existence on this planet as the human species, we didn't have money. We didn't have the government. We didn't have the NSA listening to our phone calls. We didn't have any of that. We didn't have agriculture. And yet we managed to survive because we were able to communicate better with each other and coordinate and support one another. That's really what makes us human. That's what's baked into us. That's what's allowed us to survive and thrive up to this point.
I know, look, Eric, don't get me wrong. Dude, listen, it's not that it isn't beautiful. It's just, for me, and a lot of other people, it's unrealistic. But listen, you are not, what I learned about you, you're not a jerk, man. You're not you really, really believe, no, you're not. A lot of people believe that communists are just these like crazy, Russian-loving, weirdos. You're not. You seem like a genuine person. Let me read a couple of these comments to you, because even though they don't agree with you, I think that you should hear these. Eric says, Reese, I always give credit where credit is due. I hate commies, but I give Eric, but I give Eric credit. He called in and didn't result to insults and name callings. So kudos and thank you to him. We won't get along, but I give him credit when it's due. And that's, again, the sentiment that's coming out of here. Many people agree with me. And, of course, Lori says, communism is nothing more than equal misery, not equal opportunity. So, look, it is, I'll give you this, and I really do mean this from the bottom of my heart, Eric. I was really worried that you weren't going to come on, that you were one of these guys, throw the stone and hide your hand. I can't get people who disagree with me to come on here, but you did, and I got to extend this to you. Can you please come back? I got to bring you back more often. Will you please come back?
Listen, I love it. All press is good press as far as I'm concerned.
Well, like I said, I genuinely like you. I got that kind of, some odd reason. I don't know why, but I'm enjoying this conversation, not because I'm beating you to death here with this idea, but no, there's something engaging, and I get it. I get why you are this person and why you believe what you believe, and you're so passionate about it, and I respect that. I really do. Please come back when I have your cell phone number, so I'll reach out to you, because I think more people are going to want to hear from you, even if they disagree.
Okay, thank you, Reese.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Have a good rest of
You
your
got
day.
it, man. You too. Eric Goodman, Revolutionary Communists of America. Look, I'm not saying that you should all start listening to the communists. I'm just saying it's nice to have one willing to come on and express their views. Picking berries and painting pictures and all. Oh, if life could be so, I don't know, carefree. Let's get another check of the rat race with Bob Larson with weather and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS traffic center. How are people doing in the rat race today, Mark?
I think they're doing okay. They hopefully won't get caught in the trap that we set up for them. But this traffic report being brought to you by Tab Computer Systems, a 100% employee-owned company. Southbound 91 delays in Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B, slowing again down by exit 28. If you're on the northbound side of 91, sluggish 21 to 22 in Cromwell. The Route 9 interchange, again, some sluggish traffic 24 up to 25, 26 in Wethersfield. After that, easy ride, Hartford up into Windsor. 291 eastbound, slowing I-91 over to the Bissell. Westbound 84 tied up, approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you've got delays about a mile before 46th Avenue down into the tunnel. 2 westbound is slow as you move up on exit 4A. In Glastonbury, an accident reported there. Again, some slow traffic from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 2 eastbound's a little tight as you move up on exit 3 in East Hartford. If you are heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, again, you're going to see some slow traffic from 31 in Berlin up to exit 36 in New Britain. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in Waterbury, slowing by 18, and again, 25A down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Westbound 84 slowing in Cheshire, 26 to 25 in Waterbury. Again, 22 to the Mixmaster. And 91 southbound slows 4 in toward the 95 interchange. 95 south delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. IT service, cybersecurity, and compliance does not have to cost your business its bottom line. For more than 40 years, Tab Computer Systems has helped Connecticut and Western Mass businesses with affordable computer services. Call Tab Computer Systems today and see how they can help your business succeed. 1-888-TAB for help or tabinc.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 81 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News, WTIC Weather Center sees sunshine for the balance of the afternoon. 80s. We'll have clear skies tonight in the mid-60s. National Guard troops have already detained civilians temporarily in those L.A. protests over immigration raids. Correspondent Allison Keyes reports.
Of the National Guard in L.A., Major General Scott Sherman says though some civilians have been temporarily detained by troops, they were quickly turned over to law enforcement. He also says about 500 of the National Guard troops have been trained to accompany agents on immigration operations.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass says maybe her city is part of a national experiment on how far the federal government can do in taking power from a local jurisdiction. Back here, rally in downtown New Haven is taking place near the JIMO Federal Building on Court Street, protesting the administration's immigration policies. Comes on the heels of an incident where a city woman was picked up by ICE in the Hill neighborhood in view of her children. She had a court date next week to answer misdemeanor charges, says Mayor Justin Elliker.
The way that it happens, if true, is deplorable. That ICE boxes in a mother with an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old in her car and arrests her.
Audio from WFSB. President Trump's budget bill being considered in the Senate doesn't fare well in the latest Quinnipiac University poll. 53% of those who responded oppose it, 27% support it, 20% offering no opinion. Tim Malloy is the polling analyst at Quinnipiac.
The One Big Beautiful bill is not considered beautiful or good by the American voters in large numbers. They are against it. Perhaps they don't know enough about it, but certainly Medicaid cuts, which are possible, are the toughest one for them to swallow.
87% of those who responded say Medicaid funding should increase or stay the same. In that same poll, the president's approval mark came in at 38%, but Congress's was even worse. Republicans 32% and Democrats 21%. Connecticut's new housing bill currently sits in limbo as Governor Lamont decides what he'll do, whether to veto it or sign it, or perhaps have the legislature come back and rework the thing. After hearing from mayors and first selectmen who expressed concern over what it could mean for the future of local zoning rules. Republican State Representative Steve Weir of Hebron, who sits on the Housing Committee, believes the scope of the bill is what's part of the problem.
The bill that we had to vote on was 91 pages, 46 sections, contained 16 different bills from 6 different committees. So it wasn't just housing. This is a mix of housing, banking, human services, planning and development, public safety, all crammed into this bill.
Democratic House Majority Leader Jason Rojas says the size of the bill reflects the large size of the problem.
In the wake of COVID, we saw housing prices spike, we saw rents spike, and it's caused a lot of concern. And that's just something that happened in the moment, but it's actually been around for a very long time. Housing is very expensive in Connecticut, and there's a lot of reason why that it is. This bill doesn't solve all those problems, but I think it certainly moves us in the direction of a smarter housing policy that's going to allow for the kind of growth that our state needs.
Elon Musk walking back some of the comments he made about President Trump last week.
Writing on social media, Elon Musk says he regrets some of his posts last week about President Trump. He says they went too far. Their feud erupted after Musk left Washington and attacked Trump's budget bill.
Correspondent Steve Kathan. And one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century has died. Beach Boys co-founder Brian Wilson was the man behind the songs, the sound, and the production of some of the most timeless classics in rock and roll. Anthony DeCurtis with Rolling Stone, though, says Wilson was a tortured genius.
He had very severe emotional problems, psychological problems. He had drug problems. And that really sidelined him for long periods of his career.
Sometimes Trump is
82.
so
Wall Street
ridiculous.
markets down today. The Dow off a
can't with
point.
him sometimes.
NASDAQ down 99 and the S&P down 16. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Paige Lopez, founder of a weight loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink with Awaken 180 with our guidance, you're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn
Just so you know, Reese,
Yes, sir.
foods that you're eating.
I'm going to see Angel Reese
That you can enjoy,
Are you?
that
She's
you are
playing
arming
the
yourself,
sun
and
today?
ultimately you're
on Father's Day.
host of
Dude, you better get
information
back there
that
and
will
tell them that
enable you to
Sunday.
Reese
the
on the
right
radio
choices,
wants
the
to
best choices,
play
the choices
Angel
that
Reese.
taste good to you.
Oh, update. I forgot to tell you update on that. UConn women doesn't want to have nothing to do with that. They sent me an email back already.
Nothing to do with it.
The director of marketing for the women's basketball says she doesn't want to have nothing to do with that.
Changing your life starts when you make your consult.
She took it as an offense to a slight.
Of course.
That's awaken180weightloss.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And in case, just to make sure I don't forget, want to give a round of applause to Lori H. of Burlington, Connecticut. Lori is our current winner of the Between Rounds Dozen Bagels a Month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in Vernon, South Windsor, and Manchester. If you'd like to have a chance to win, you go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Fill out the form. They are chosen at random. Winners are chosen at random, and you must live in the state of Connecticut and should not have won within the last 6 months. So make sure that you just go to reeseontheradio.com, fill out the form there. It's right there for you. In something that was making me laugh behind the scenes. So Donald Trump put out a Truth Social post. If you heard me when I read the headlines today about apologies, Elon Musk has somewhat given a mea culpa to Donald Trump and saying that he may have gone too far. Well, according to a report I just saw, Donald Trump has responded to said apology. This is what he wrote, and this is hilarious. Donald Trump writes, "I'm open to reconciling with Elon after seeing his latest post. Elon knows I love him. JD, I guess JD Vance, knows this too. I give the best and biggest reconciliations. Everyone knows this." Even when he's gracious, he's bragging. I give the best and biggest reconciliations. I want to learn how to talk like Trump. He's too much. Bob Larson's in for Jason Caterina with weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center, giving you the best traffic anyone's ever given. That's how Trump would say it, Mark. He would say, I give the best traffic. And Mark Christopher knows this.
That's right, Mr. Trump. I certainly do. We try our best here. If you're traveling on the southbound side of I-91, look for slow traffic now from exit 34 down to 32 A and B. Now, if you're traveling south of downtown, a little slow, 27 down to 28. If you're northbound 91, look for slow traffic 21 to 22 in Cromwell. Another bump up by exit 25, 26 in Wethersfield. Westbound 84 is slowing, approaching the Oakley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound is tied up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge to the 84 west. 2 westbound, also look out for an accident in the area of exit 4A in Glastonbury. If you are traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni. 9 southbound is slowing just after 27 in Cromwell down to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury tight by 18. 84 westbound, some slow traffic now. 26 up to 25 in Waterbury, and again 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing in Cheshire. 26 down to the 691 interchange. And if you're heading in toward New Haven, 91 southbound delays 6 in toward the 95 interchange. 95 southbound delays 48 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week at Stu Leonard's, direct from their Midwest ranchers, ground beef chuck, fresh ground daily by their butchers, just $3.99 a pound. Plus, save $1 on Stu's naked, no added hormones, chicken thighs, or drumsticks, only $1.99 a pound.
WTIC weather.
Sunshine as we close out the afternoon, along with a nice warm breeze at a high of 83. Staying clear tonight, low 65. Hazy sunshine tomorrow. It can be breezy and very warm, a high up to 87. And then partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 60. Not quite as warm on Friday, still pleasant, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, high 81. A little cooler Saturday, and there could be a couple of showers. High 73. Right now it is 82 in Plainville, it's 81 in Meriden, and 82 degrees in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
At Joe the Plumber, we know that toilets and sinks always pick the worst times to act up. That's why we promise fast, friendly, reliable service. The friendly part is about you, not the plumbing. We're going to get medieval on that. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
1 minute.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk.
Drop it.
We're back, Reese on the Radio. Let's go to Courtney Ann's courtroom because she's on the line, and she loved everything that communist had to say. Courtney Ann, welcome back. You said something in the chat room that I had to throw at you. You said, Reese, I completely disagree with you, saying that working class people didn't build and make everything. If not for them, who did? I'll wait. And I said, they didn't build it out of the kindness of their heart. Someone had to hire them. They didn't wake up one morning and said, I'm just going to put a building there. That's not how that worked.
Okay, so because you feel to say they didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart, you don't know that. Now maybe they didn't.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying maybe they didn't, but I'm just saying to say that point, I don't think it's fair to say. But whether they did or didn't, that's not my point. My point is that working class is who builds this country.
No, they don't.
The working class, you have nothing. Yes, they are.
I'm going to tell you how that's not true. Because remember, someone has to create the thing that people build, right? The engineer has to be hired by someone who's going to be the benefactor, if you will, of the building, skyscraper, whatever the case may be.
Agreed.
All of, like
but
Elizabeth.
That cannot come to pass.
Oh, no. I know it doesn't come to pass one without the other.
Exactly,
I know that.
Exactly. So you're taking away the credit. You're like, the working class, it's not because of the working class, but actually, you can't have one without the other. If you didn't have the working class, you'd have nothing.
Okay.
Because the person with the idea, the person that's orchestrating it all. Yes, granted, they're the person orchestrating it. They're the person with the idea. They definitely deserve their credit. However,
I'm not. But see,
an idea is not. Look, I can have a million ideas.
Right, but they're not executed until you get somebody to fulfill them. I do get that, but hold on. They still don't do it out of the kindness of their heart.
What?
Wait,
Okay, but
Courtney,
that
let me
doesn't
make
matter.
Courtney. I'll tell you why that matters. Let me tell you why it matters. Right? If it was the giving nature of the builders, as you guys put it, who just got together collectively, as Eric was trying to say, right? If it was just a bunch of workers who got together and said, we're all going to take care of each other and build these things, right? And then after they build these things, they all take care of one another. There's no salary. Everyone communes to eat together. Everyone lives together. And this was all put together by those same people. That would be one thing. But that isn't how the country was built. It was built by benefactors who paid people to do the actual labor. What I'm saying to you, hold on. Let me, you got to hear me out. What I'm saying to you and Eric is that you guys are putting the cart before the horse, as if to suggest that because people did the labor, they immediately move up in the hierarchy of the whole scheme of things. Because they did the labor, they in some way are higher than those who were the benefactors or the people who financed said building. And that's not the case.
So I don't think that I didn't take it that Eric was saying that they should be higher than they
should make the rules and regulations, he says. They the ones who should be the makers and owners of all of this.
Right. Now we're talking about two things. Okay, the rules and regulations and who makes that up is one thing. To be a person that builds somebody's up and makes them millions. The fact that the person that just made millions off of my hard labor, it doesn't matter if I did it out of the kindness of my heart, all that.
That's absolute nonsense, Courtney. Courtney, wait, before you know, what you just said is absolute nonsense. Hear me out. The reason why what you said is, I'll tell you why it's nonsense. Let me explain to you. I'm not just going to say it's nonsense. I'm going to give you the breakdown of why it is. Okay? You're saying that builders came in and built that, and that I made him a millionaire in building that. That is utter nonsense. That's not how that works. It's just as silly as that thing that corporations are not people. Like, what do you think they are? An inanimate building that just operates without human interaction? No, that's a joke. This is this fallacy that's being promoted within these communist-loving people. Like the actual person.
I think that you're wrong.
No, I understand you think that I'm wrong, but I'm.
Look, although there might be someone controlling the puppet strings that we don't see, and maybe that is a one-person type of entity, probably is. However, we can't speak on what we don't see because you have companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, Street Smart, who if you go right now to Google and you say, who owns them? You know what Google's going to tell you? Nobody owns them.
Okay.
The public owns them.
Yeah. You can find that anywhere, Courtney. Courtney, you can find that anywhere. But guess what? You're not going to find that when you look up who owns Walmart, right? You're going to find out that there are shareholders. You're going to find out that there are actual owners and CEOs and all that other stuff. But what I'm trying to express to you is this. But yes, it's not a pyramid scheme, as many people try to portray this, right? Where the workers, the lowly workers on the bottom do all.
Definitely a pyramid.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
How do you say it's not?
I'll
Reese?
tell you.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you how it's not a pyramid scheme. It's real simple. You don't have to work at Walmart. You don't have to work at McDonald's. You don't have to work anywhere that is going to enrich the person who owns the building. You could say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that and live off the grid, as Eric said, and pick berries and do and paint pictures all day.
That's not realistic.
Of course it isn't realistic. You're making my point, Courtney.
No, it's not. It's not realistic because, no, your point is saying that, well, you don't have to do it, but actually that's a lie.
Why do you have to do it?
If I want to live as a homeless, because if I want to live, if I want to eat, if I want to have even a remotely, even if it's a hole in the wall, even a hole in the wall still costs money.
That's the trade-off.
That's the trade-off.
Yes, the trade-off is, wait. The trade-off is you get paid based upon your skill set. What Eric is trying to promote is no matter what your skill set is, no matter what it is that you can offer, everybody lives the same. That there's no talent based increase in your salary. Is that everybody gets the same because everyone is the same. And the point is that our lifestyle, the way that we, based upon you go to school, how much you learn, and what you can contribute, will always be a product of what you bring home as a salary. What you're saying is that a worker who has a basic diploma, who can only put, I don't know, his shoelaces together, should for some odd reason be treated like he created the whole thing. No, if you want to get a better, I understand that.
I did not say that.
Okay,
I didn't
but
say
what
that.
I'm
And I
saying
think that
is
you're not being fair.
What I'm saying is
I don't think you're being fair.
what Eric is trying to eliminate is the fact that if I work hard and I become something, I should be compensated for the thing that I've worked hard for. And he's saying that
yeah, that's just your narrative.
He's calling that capitalism.
You're even taking,
he's calling that capitalism. And that is capitalism.
But okay, can I say something?
Good.
You're taking bits and pieces of a whole bunch of different things to create a narrative of what you're saying. When, okay, what Eric was talking about, everybody putting in and helping each other.
Distributing it fairly.
That would work. Hold on. So that would work if it was something that was created and it could be. That would not work because of our mentality. Look at, you're a perfect example. Your mentality literally even prevents you from being open-minded to see that would work. And why? I'll tell you why. Because in that kind of society, everybody plays a part. And just like you just said, right now, when we're talking about, it's still the same framework of, well, this person has the idea, and then these people, we need these people to help get this idea to, come be a thing, right?
Yeah.
That same exact framework could go towards a communist type of environment where it's not that your skill set is better than my skill set. It's just that both of our skill sets are necessary and are needed, no matter what they are, no matter how difficult. Well, hold on. No matter how difficult or how not difficult, it's that without the least difficult people's skill set, something wouldn't work, and without the highest people's skill set, something wouldn't work. Everything's necessary. So on that aspect, yes, that would work. However, we live in a profit over people, greedy, everybody out for self society.
Nonsense.
So it would never work.
Absolute nonsense.
Yes,
See, that's where you and Eric have it wrong. Hold on.
profit over people.
You've already, no. See, that's the thing this is the arrogance I'm never going to understand. It's exactly the way that you just framed it at the end. You called it profit over people.
That's what it is.
Stop. No. Why? Because you, hold on. No, Courtney. Why? Because you say it is? So you are saying, and this is, no. I'll explain.
I'm going to tell you why. Wait, you asked me why. Let me tell you why.
I'm about to make a point.
Because,
Courtney,
wait.
You don't know, Courtney,
before
you listen, you're going to dig yourself a hole on this one because trust me, I'm prepared.
I promise
for this.
you I won't.
You have to listen to me because that's why I let you go on.
I want to hear what I say.
When you said profit over people, let me explain to you why you and Eric are 100% wrong about this. When you say profit over people, you talk about people's intent as if you know them. You do not. You do not know what people. No. See, that's there's the other arrogance.
You just got through saying how people didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart. And you're telling me what I'm
because they were compensated for it, and if they did do it out of the kindness of their heart, they would have. I'm using actual evidence, not perceived. So let me finish this point.
Actual evidence too, though.
Courtney, let me finish my point.
It's
Courtney, let me finish my point.
Sorry, go ahead.
When people make these so-called premonitions about what people are doing things for, saying that it's profit over people, that they're thinking about themselves before they think about other people. You don't know that about anyone. Most people live their lives to take care of their own. They have a wife, they have a child, they want to live a certain life, they want to live in a certain place, they have desires. All of these things are called freedoms. These are freedoms. We live in a society with these freedoms where we can live and roam wherever we want to. Because people say, when people use terms like profits over people, you're immediately condemning them as evil people because they're thinking of themselves. They're selfish. No, they're not. They're not selfish. They are what people are doing. Hold on.
It's crazy that you're trying to say that people aren't selfish. First off, we're born. Everybody is a bit of selfish. We're all selfish.
It's not a pejorative, by the way. Selfish is not. No, it isn't. It's not a pejorative to say that. In other words, it's not a negative. It's not a negative to be self.
Right. To be selfish is not negative. To be profit over people is a bit negative.
Says you.
Well, that's yeah, you're right. But that's exactly where the profit over people. That's how they feel.
If you frame it that way, Courtney, that's what
can I tell you why now?
Your ends are. Listen to me. Your ends are justifying the means by saying that it's profit over people, that you are placing the intent on every individual. Why? Because you see it that way. You saying, oh, because
I'm
they
not.
refuse.
Yes. No. First off, you didn't let me talk yet. So
Go ahead.
You're just telling me you're painting my own narrative. I haven't said anything yet other than profit over people. Everything else you just spoke on is your own narrative. You're
Go
painting
ahead.
of me.
You got a minute.
When I say profit over people, I'm not talking about each individual necessarily. That is everybody is just profit over people. I mean, I guess I could say that, but that would probably be more in my opinion. But what I am saying, though, are all these big businesses are definitely profit over people. Why? Why? Because people like Vanguard and BlackRock own a big percentage of a healthcare. And why would that be something? Because they make decisions not based on the people. They make decisions based on the money.
So BlackRock gets to speak.
Wait.
You're using an example of BlackRock and Vanguard.
Courtney, you just asked for an example. You want me to say a million examples?
How do you get? No.
Example.
When you're using an example of BlackRock, even if they are the most nefarious business in the world, they don't get to speak for all businesses. That's not a that's not a definition to your claim. That's not a breakdown of your claim.
Let me finish what I'm saying. You asked me for an example. I'm giving you an example.
Mm-hmm.
And BlackRock and Vanguard do own. They are the top shareholders in 2,000 of the United States' highest, biggest,
most profitable
businesses. Or businesses. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So what does that mean? It means they have a say-so in what that company does with the money. So my example was healthcare. They will come in, and if they feel the need to make more money for the people, they will raise people's premiums and raise this, not because anything to do with people. They don't care about the people. They just want to make money for them. Another example.
How do you know that?
Look at State Farm. Because go look it up.
No. How do you know their personal intent, Courtney?
Because it's literally on paper.
It's in their mission statement. Their mission statement says we don't care about people, we care about money.
It doesn't have to be. So you need someone to. So it doesn't have to say if you go read it, that's exactly what it says.
Courtney.
It tells you. No. Listen to me.
I gotta go to break.
It tells you
Courtney.
all the people they influence. Like I'm telling you, go look it up, Reese.
Courtney, you know I
it
have.
Doesn't say we hate people.
You know I have. I had this debate 1,000 times.
I
love you, Courtney.
To say that we don't live in a profit over people society.
We do. I just know that may be true for some companies, but not all of them. I love you, Courtney. I'll talk to you later. We got to take a break. Let's get back to weather and traffic with I forget who's doing weather again. I've always forgotten. John Larson is doing weather. And Mark Christopher.
John Larson, isn't he the
Bob Larson?
Congressman?
Bob Larson.
Okay, there you
Bob
go.
Larson's. Thank you.
John Larson's
Bob Larson.
doing the weather?
No, he's not. Bob Larson's doing weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Thank you for correcting me.
Oh, no problem, Reese. Thank you very much. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you've got delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley out to 45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 delays 33 to 32. Again, 27 to 28. Northbound 91's a little slow by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. After that, a good ride. Hartford up into Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 westbound slows from 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound got slow traffic Harbor Park, Cromwell Middletown line down to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling 84 westbound, look for slow traffic 26 up to 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic in Cheshire, 26 down to the 691 interchange. And if you're heading toward New Haven right now, southbound Parkway a little slow, getting by exit 60. And southbound 95 slows 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Hazy sunshine the rest of this afternoon and noticeably warmer than recent days. High 83. That haze will enhance the sunset this evening. Clear tonight with the low of 65. Hazy sunshine tomorrow. Breezy and very warm. High 87. Partly cloudy tomorrow night. Low 60. Pleasant on Friday. A mixture of clouds and sunshine. High 81. Cooler Saturday. Variable cloudiness with a couple of showers. High 73. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Hartford temperature 82 degrees under partly sunny skies. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury police investigating a report of shots fired. They received the call, the area of Baldwin and Middle Streets, was just after 1 this afternoon. Detectives say they did find evidence of gunfire, but no reported injuries. That investigation, again, is ongoing. No injuries in an early morning car fire in New Britain. Police say they came upon the scene in the wee hours of this morning on Stanley Street. Car had flipped over before bursting into flames, took out a utility pole as well. President Trump announced that a U.S.-China trade deal is done, and that in exchange for Chinese magnets and rare earth minerals and a 55% tariff on Chinese goods, the U.S. will provide China what was agreed to, including allowing Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities. South Windsor police charging a 57-year-old man with breach of peace. They say he was following possibly recording a female at a Valero gas station in town on Sullivan Avenue around 3:20 this morning. That's when Robert Malone was issued a summons, misdemeanor charge. He's due in court on the 25th. Brian Wilson has died. The driving force behind the Beach Boys and the surf sound of the 60s, was a founding member, bassist, keyboardist, songwriter, and producer. His family says Wilson died today at the age of 82. And the NBA Finals shift to Indianapolis tonight. Pacers hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. The series is tied at a game apiece. OKC provided the beatdown of the Pacers in Game 2 after Tyrese Halliburton hit that last-second shot with about 0.3 of a second left in Game 1. On Wall Street, the Dow down a point. NASDAQ finished down 99, and the S&P was off 16 points. Red Sox will wrap their series with the Rays tonight at Fenway, 6:10, the pregame here after the news. The Yanks in the middle of a series with the Kansas City Royals in the Midwest, and the Mets are home to Washington. Eastern League, Akron visits Duncan Park and the Yard Goats, 7:10 on the Odyssey app, and as we told you, Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight between Oklahoma City and Indiana. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a doctor who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I'm getting, crap, of course, from people who agree with Courtney. We do have a lot of, pro-socialist people in Connecticut. And I get it. There are a lot of people who's like, oh, profits over people and, greedy. And here's it again. This was my whole debate with Courtney. And the conversation happens usually in the subject of race as well. And the two people, Donald, who's in the chat room, and Courtney, that literally two birds of a feather. They live on opposite ends of the country, and they agree wholeheartedly with one another. Like it was literally cookie cutter. Like they came out the same lab. They agree 100% with one another. And so he's listening to me talk to Courtney, and he's like, let her talk. I'm like, no. Because you can't just get away with blanketing everybody in the business community or anybody who wants to turn a profit, anybody who wants to be successful. That's the idea with communism. Demonize, marginalize, denigrate, and destroy. And you start using platitudes like profit over people. That's the moral playbook. You immediately start telling people you don't care about people, which in essence is it's the pathway to calling people evil. That's what that is. Now, they don't intend that, as you heard Courtney. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. How's it not? When you tell people they don't care or profits over or money, what is the one thing that's always implemented in that? Money is the root of all evil. People who have money are greedy. They don't care. It's the same workbook. It's Scholastic 101 in liberal, communist, and socialist talking points. I'm not just going to sit here and say, look at all these people who are profitable, but you have no idea what their intent is. Do you know there are people in the medical industry that make a profit? Are they evil because they invented said thing? A defibrillator? Is the guy who invented that an evildoer because he cared about making money doing it? Or because he's wealthy having invented it? Do you get to demonize them because of that? You don't know what reason people do things. But you have your usual talking points. Oh my God, they're rich. They're poor. Bad, good. It's something out of Hollywood or storybooks. And I'm just one of those people. I refuse to just go along to get along with that narrative. I've owned a business. I've actually taken the risk. I've been worried about making bills, keeping the light on. And it was successful. Moderately, but it was successful. And having done it, as a lot of people who have not, get to demonize and make blanket statements about those who have done it, who have taken a risk, who have lost everything, who have gone bankrupt, who have lost family members or lost marriages because of their ambition. You know nothing about that. And no offense, but I won't have them demonized, and I will stand up for them. Just because I've been a part of that. I will not go along to get along. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Bob Larson, I'm finally got it right, is in for Jason Catarino. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. And this traffic report is being brought to you by Amplify CT. And if you're making your way in on the eastbound side of 84 in Hartford, delays up from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weather Shield line. Looks real good. 91 northbound Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 eastbound slowing. I-91 over to the Bissell. 2 westbounds tied up approaching 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you are traveling on the eastbound side of 84, a little slow in Cheshire, getting by 26. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slows 25A up to exit 25. If you're heading into Danbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 5 against some more slow traffic from 8 in Danbury out to 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. 95 South New Haven is tied up 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Strength isn't just about what you carry, but what you can let go of. June is Men's Mental Health Month, and Amplify CT reminds you that help is here. Visit amplifyct.org for resources and support. You matter. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Sunshine, pleasantly warm the rest of today. Temperatures just above 80 and then clear tonight. Overnight low is 65. It's going to be heating up tomorrow. Hazy sunshine, becoming breezy. I have 87 tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy tomorrow night. No low is 60. Not quite as warm Friday. A mix of clouds and sun, high 81. Cooler Saturday with a couple of showers in the area and a high of 73. It's currently 82 in New Britain. It's 81 in Bristol and 82 degrees in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Well, well, well. If your well isn't producing a ready supply of potable water, Joe the Plumber can help. From well pump installation to repair, we'll make sure everything's working well. Sorry, I didn't write this. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. Progressive is here for all of life's needs with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at progressive.com.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
This is Paige Lopez.
1 minute.
Of Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
And through this process of cooking your food, through eating out at restaurants, through ordering alcoholic beverages, which you can drink with Awaken 180 with our guidance, you're learning these tools, you're educating yourself, and it doesn't even seem like learning, but you'll learn so much about the foods that you're eating and the variety that you can enjoy, that you are arming yourself and ultimately your family with a whole host of information that will enable you to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that taste good to you long term so that you can experience that long-term success easily.
Before turning to weight loss medications, first call Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, effective weight loss naturally. Eat to lose weight, then receive free support for life. Changing your life starts when you make your consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Lightning round, lightning round, lightning round, lightning round, lightning round.
That's right. It's time for the lightning round. So, oh, goodness gracious. I cannot believe I actually did this. I'm supposed to go to the phones, but of course, this ridiculous computer. Somebody's got to help me with this computer because it keeps timing out. And if it does, I got to type in this long password in order to get back in, which is horrible. Let me get the screen back on here. I've got to put this thing. Oh, now I got to start all over. Forgive me, guys. I'm going to put the thing in here real quick. And, okay, there it is, my Y, okay. And it's, when you got to put in your password in this Odyssey thing, it's got to be long. It's got to have, like, all of these characters. And then after all of these characters, then it has to have a special character. And if you get it wrong, which I did not, aha! I made it. I can get to the phone screen. This sucks. I hate this. It drives me crazy every time I try to do it. Now let's get to the phones. Let's go to, all right, Ralph is in South Carolina. Thanks for holding, Ralph. What's going on?
Oh, Reese, you had some great people there. First of all, you don't understand, Reese. If you go out in the field and you pick 8 pounds of blueberries and the other guy picks 4 pounds, then the other guy, you give him 2 pounds.
I got to give him 2 pounds.
Now you're both at 6. Isn't that equal?
Yo, Ralph, real quick. You're going, this is so crazy. But I remember years ago, I had a conversation with someone trying to explain socialism to them. And it was a young black kid who sold crack. And he was like, I don't understand socialism, and no one explains it to me in a way that I can understand. And so I had to explain to him, so you and your neighbor both sell crack rock, and he sells 100 crack rocks a week, and you only sell 50. And when I told him that the other guy would have to give him 25 crack rocks so that they would be even, he was like, oh, man, that would never work in the hood. I went, of course. That's exactly my point. So that was the way I had to explain it to him.
No, I mean, but you listen, even this woman, she's talking about, people and businesses and everything else. If it wasn't for these businesses, do you think right now how many people would be dead because of diabetes? How many people would be dead because of high blood pressure? How many people would be dead because of open heart surgery? And all these advances in medicine, these people make money? Absolutely. They made money.
And
God bless them.
I think that's the problem is, and I think we even heard that a little bit from Eric, is that some things they would be okay with the profitability of certain individuals while everybody else was made to live on a fair playing field. But look, I just know that as people, even if we were to live in a society where some people were able to keep their $350,000 salary, I know that it's innate in me to see that individual and go, you know what, I wish I could live in that house. Why can't I live in that house? I think it's a human trait.
Of course, but what would you do, and you think, if at least they think that a surgeon and a janitor at the hospital should both be making the same money?
Exactamundo, sir. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate you. Let's go to who's up next. Oh, Tom in Thomaston. How are you, sir?
Hey, hello. Bless that Courtney sweetheart. She's still, Reese, you told her 10 times a week and a half ago that I-9 is a document, and if someone has it, they're documented.
Exactly.
And she couldn't get that through her head.
No.
Of course, she never ran a payroll, so she would know anything about that. And if she's listening,
she is.
I cleaned toilets myself for 6-8 years.
Wow.
5-7 nights a week before I hired my first employee.
Wow.
Am I an evil capitalist? Because my janitorial business got bigger and I was able to hire some more people and I didn't have to clean every single night. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and it's, you know what? Okay, so that's, you know what? That's the kind of scale where they immediately start to parse it, Tom. They immediately go, like a guy like you, if you had turned into like a megalomillionaire as a cleaning service, like let's say you were one of those huge, nationally or if not internationally known companies, they would forget all about the days where you were cleaning toilets yourself before you built this entire empire.
Unfortunately, I'm not that big, but you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Someone asked, and then her other point about business, if what she was saying was true, Stop and Shop would still have grocery stores in Connecticut.
Yep.
And Caldor's would still be the department store in Connecticut.
Indeed.
But they both went out of business, and other people started little businesses that grew in the. Sam Walton was a little teeny one-man show when he first started.
That's right.
So they never want to say that. And I'll make one point on that Commander Communist guy.
Yeah.
I read like 8 or 10 years ago. I did some research on Marx.
Okay.
And I found someone before he was, the statue, in squares in Russia.
Sure.
He was just a guy peddling his philosophy.
Yeah.
And someone asked his mother what she thought of him. And I don't know the exact quote, but she said something to the extent, I wish my son put as much effort into getting a job as he does his other stuff. and I bet that guy you had on, I bet if you were to ask his mother, she would say the exact same thing.
That's great. That's a great quote by Karl Marx's mom. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Good stuff. Great stuff. Let's go to my good friend Matt in Bristol. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, so they pretty much covered it with the second communist, with the lady. I was going to say, no one's stopping her from creating a company and then putting in equity and sweat equity and then paying her employees so much that she breaks even.
Yeah.
She has every right to do that. But I was actually calling about the first communist guy.
Okay.
I don't think he's actually a communist.
What do you think he is?
I think he was going for like the United, like Star Trek, like.
You mean like?
It sounded more. It sounded like Star Trek, like the Federation. Where everyone just works to better themselves. There is no money, and but until we come up with food replicators and dilithium crystals and transporters, I don't see how that's possible. But he didn't really seem like a communist to me. He seemed like an idealist.
Yes.
But
I agree. I think idealist is better suited for Eric. You're 100% right, because again, he doesn't do it with any malice. I was under the impression he was going to be like, what do you call it? Like red heat Russian. Like,
Yeah, like Mao.
Yeah. These what we must do. We must do this.
Yeah.
Get rid of corporation. I thought he was going to
oppress you until I make. Yeah.
No.
He just watches too much Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's
he
all.
comes
So
back.
I do too.
He's about this is his version of communist. Let's paint pictures and pick berries. I'm like, all right, I don't mind that.
And when you could just go to a computer and say, make me some food, and it just appears, then we can do that, society.
Yeah, exactly.
Until then, someone has to grow the food and make the items and all that stuff, and no one's going to do it if you're not getting paid.
I will say this, Matt. He was much better than advertised as a guest. I really did enjoy him.
I put him back on again.
Yes.
I liked him.
Yeah,
Put him
me
back on again.
too. Me too. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's go. Hey, Patty's in Naugatuck. Hi, Patty.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. So, I'm going to go with what you're actually talking about, but it's something that's insidious. It's not being talked about, and it's always never good for us when that's going on. That's why I'm bringing it out. We're talking about communism. Well, I like the Republic. I like the Constitution. I love the American flag, and I never have forgotten that people have fought, died, and become disabled and carried very, very strong memories of what happened when they were fighting on behalf of our freedoms. So never forget, freedom is not free. And, there's something in Congress besides this big, beautiful bill, Reese.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to the radar. There's one in the Congress, there's one in the Representatives, and there's one called the Genius Act that's actually right now in our Senate. Well, this Genius Act, they're talking about our currencies, and they're looking to take our fiat dollar and make it into like a crypto. So you'll have a fiat dollar that's backed by a crypto that's actually worth nothing. Now, we don't ever put them against anything like gold or silver or things that have inherent value. So when you take something that has no inherent value, but I'm going to just let the audience know this is going on in the Senate right now. And we have the opportunity to stop it, because where this actually goes, I've read 2 sources on it today. It goes to the enslavement of the American people. Control what you buy. We're talking about socialism. We're talking about communism. How much is going to be given to you to spend? It'll be an electronic currency for us.
Right. Yeah, this is right. This was the digital currency they were talking about a couple of years ago. Real quick before I got to go, because this is the lightning round. I got to get as many people in. Is the Senate the last say on this vote, or is it like Senate and then going down to Congress?
Like it is. It sounds like it is. They have one in the. Well, tomorrow I'll find a little more facts out. I just learned it myself.
Okay.
This one is the Genius Bill, and the other one is called the Clever Bill.
Okay.
I don't know about the Clever, but I'll read by the time I talk to you tomorrow.
You got it.
I know they're bad. 2 really strong, reliable sources. One I followed for over 20 years. Does not look good. It's about managing what you buy, giving you so much money that they'll decide how much money we have.
Eric would probably like this coin. No, I'm kidding. Let me get these other people, Betty. Thank you, dear. Let me go to Mark in Columbia. How are you, Mark?
Hey, Reese, I'm doing well. I just wanted to say, when you were having that conversation about maybe an hour ago, maybe a little less, with the person, and you were saying people are worth what they paid. If you're not worth getting paid, or you don't want to get paid $2.21 to work at McDonald's,
right,
then go to some other place and get paid what they think you are worth. But
right.
you set your own worth, your own dollar value, and you said all of that, and the person you were speaking with couldn't really figure out what you were saying.
I don't think that they understand the fact that, look, I think they look at this, Mark, from a purview that says that they see that working a job is some form of slavery. They don't see it as commerce in some way, right? Like you are giving something for compensation. They don't see it that way. They feel like work. I remember that line from Mo Money with Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans, and he said, "Work ain't nothing but a job." And I think that that's what these young people think, that it's something I'm forced to do, not something that lifts me out of poverty or something that advances my life or improves it. They think it's something that they're made to do because the world should be handed to them.
Well, if you're an entrepreneur, you're not getting paid for your time. You're getting paid for the increase in value that you bring to the marketplace.
Damn right. 100% right, my friend. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And Mark, this is your first call, or you called before?
I've called before, but not often. I listen to you pretty much anytime I can, but
I appreciate it.
I pulled away because that lady just said, I got to call and say, you did a good job, Reese.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. You got it.
You're welcome.
You got it. Yeah, we got to get up out of here. I've only got a minute, and I know that if I even take another one of these calls, we'll go over time. But that's okay. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into tomorrow as well. We are still working diligently to find out information about Kevin Moreno. This is the high schooler who was detained by ICE after a hearing, an ICE hearing, an immigration hearing, and did not make it to his graduation. We'll see if anybody else is going to report any further on it, because if he did have an immigration hearing, that means that is part of the public record. And if it's part of the public record, we should know about it. We'll also see, if we can get in touch with Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati and see if he said he spoke to the family, and we'll see if we can get any details from him on why Mr. Moreno and his son are being held in Texas. Or we'll see if the story just goes away because maybe too many people or too many inquiring minds want to know. All right? We'll get back to you tomorrow on it. We're diligently on it, so stay tuned for that this week. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember, keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. I want to thank Eric Gordon. I'm sorry, is it Eric Gordon? Did I just say his name wrong? Of course I did.
Goodman.
Eric Goodman. Thank Eric Goodman from the Revolutionary Communists of America for being our guest, and we are going to have him back. And thank all of you. All right, we're out of here. Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thanks. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, you got delays approaching the boat.
All right, good sir.
I got to get more guys like Eric on here.
44 Prospect.
So you enjoyed that, huh?
Oh, man.
South of 91
you
is a
have
little
no
slow,
idea.
33 down to
During
32.
the commercial break,
Slow
I
down
was
by
telling
28
Rosette,
on
I was
Hartford
like,
Weather
I really
Shield
like
line.
this guy.
Northbound 91 moving well.
Now you done met a friend.
Winter. Still seeing some slow traffic.
you know, that
291
happens.
eastbound from
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
in South Windsor.
Yes, sir. See you mañana.
All right, guys. Yeah, have a great day. Yeah, we're going to have him on. We're going to send him a message later on thanking him. He was entertaining. I know that was... we don't really get guys like that on the show or even in talk radio. So, I don't know. For me, maybe that was just different for me, but I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. All right? As always, I love you guys. Eric, I'll give you a holler when I'm on the road. Well, actually, no, I can't because it's a short drive. But I will give you a call later on tonight so we can talk about that thing with your wife. And, of course, the podcast, we'll talk about that as well. So stick around for that. Thank you, guys. You know I love you. Be good to each other.